Your body already knows it's time to rest. For 300,000 years, humans have found peace in stories like this, settling into the darkness with the same comfort you feel right now. Let your mind wander where ancient wisdom guides it. Back to a time when memory was everything, when forgetting meant danger, and when your ancestors mastered a technique so powerful that it's still encoded in your DNA, waiting for you to rediscover it tonight 40,000 years ago. As twilight painted the sky in shades of amber and violet, a young hunter sat at the entrance of a limestone cave. The day's light was fading, but he wasn't afraid of the darkness. He had something more valuable than fire, more reliable than any tool. He had a memory that never failed him. Around him, the Ice Age world was settling into its evening rhythm. Distant mammoths called to each other across frozen valleys. The wind carried the scent of pine smoke and wild sage. And inside the cave, where generations of his people had sheltered, the embers of the evening fire cast dancing shadows on walls covered in the handprints of ancestors. This young hunter, barely 20 winters old, was practicing something his grandmother had taught him when he was a child. It took only 10 seconds. 10 seconds that would ensure he remembered everything important. 10 seconds that separated those who thrived from those who didn't survive. He closed his eyes and his right hand began to move across his body in a deliberate pattern. Thigh, right shoulder, belly, chest, forehead, 5 locations, 5 memories. 10 seconds total. As he touched each spot, his mind stored critical information. The location of tomorrow's hunting ground, the warning signs of changing weather, the plants his sister needed for medicine, the tool that needed repair before dawn, the promise he'd made to his father. Each piece of information didn't just float in his mind as abstract thought. It anchored itself to his body, to the physical sensation of touch, to the map of himself that his brain had known since birth. This wasn't just memory. This was survival encoded into flesh. You might be wondering why this matters to you here. Now, 40,000 years later, you have a phone. You have reminder apps, calendar notifications, notes, and alarms. You have technology that ancient humans couldn't imagine. And yet, if I asked you right now what you forgot today, something would immediately come to mind, wouldn't it? The thing you needed from the store, the text you meant to send, the task you were supposed to complete, the name you couldn't recall, the appointment you almost missed. Your phone was with you the entire time, but you still forgot. This isn't your fault. Your brain wasn't designed to remember things the way modern life demands. Your phone has actually trained your brain to stop encoding information properly. Scientists call this digital amnesia. When your brain knows that information is stored externally, it stops creating strong internal memories. It's logical in a way. Why work hard to remember something when your phone will remember it for you? But here's what those scientists have also discovered. The ancient memory technique that the young hunter was using, the one passed down for hundreds of thousands of years, works with your brain's natural design instead of against it. Feel your breath matching ancient rhythms. Notice how your body naturally relaxes as you hear this story. This is your nervous system recognizing something it's always known. You are capable of the same memory mastery that kept your ancestors alive through ice ages and migrations and countless challenges. The technique they used is still accessible to you. It's simpler than you think, more natural than any app. And it works better because it's what your neurology was designed for over millions of years of evolution. The young hunter opened his eyes as the last light disappeared from the sky. His hand had completed its journey across his body. The 5 touches had taken exactly 10 seconds, just as his grandmother had taught him. But those 10 seconds had created memory anchors that would last days, weeks, sometimes years. When he woke tomorrow before dawn, he wouldn't need to frantically search for a list or check a device. He would simply touch those same 5 points on his body, and the memories would return instantly, effortlessly, completely. Not because he had a better brain than you do, but because he used his brain the way it was meant to be used. Inside the cave, other members of his tribe were performing the same ritual. The grandmother who had taught him sat by the fire, her weathered hands moving across her own body in the familiar pattern. A young mother touched her sleeping daughter's body points gently, reinforcing the memories the child had encoded earlier. An elder hunter, preparing for his last expedition, touched his memory map with the confidence of someone who had never forgotten anything important in 60 years of life. This wasn't just one person's technique. This was the foundation of their entire culture. This was how knowledge survived. This was how they thrived when everything around them was harsh and unforgiving. Your ancestors who didn't use this technique, who didn't develop this relationship with their body's spatial memory, didn't pass on their genes. They forgot the location of water during drought. They forgot the signs of predators. They forgot where they'd stored food for winter. And they didn't survive. The ones who mastered body memory technique, the ones who could store and retrieve critical information without any external tool, they're the ones you descended from, which means you inherited this capability. The neural pathways are already in your brain. The instinct is already in your body. It's just been sleeping, waiting for you to wake it up. Think of one thing you forgot today. Just one thing. Let it come naturally. Don't force it. There it is. That moment of frustration when you realized you'd forgotten. That small spike of anxiety. That feeling of your own mind being unreliable. Now imagine never feeling that way again. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning with complete clarity about everything that matters. No frantic phone checking. No scrolling through reminder apps. Just instant, effortless recall of everything you decided was important the night before. This isn't fantasy. This is what the 10-second technique gives you. The young hunter stood and walked deeper into the cave, where his sleeping furs waited. As he lay down, he touched his 5 body points one more time, a final reinforcement before sleep. His breath began to slow. His mind began to drift. But even as he fell asleep, his brain was working on his behalf. The memories he'd encoded through touch were being processed, strengthened, woven into the fabric of long-term storage. When sleep researchers study this process thousands of years later, they'll discover something remarkable. The combination of touch, spatial awareness, and memory encoding creates one of the strongest forms of learning possible. Stronger than reading, stronger than hearing, stronger than visual memory alone. The young hunter didn't know the neuroscience, but he knew the results. He would wake tomorrow and remember everything, just as his ancestors had for 300,000 years. You're exactly where you need to be right now. Comfortable, relaxed, open to learning something that's actually remembering. Because you already know how to do this. Your body already has the map. Your brain already has the pathways. You just need to reconnect with what's always been there, waiting beneath the layers of modern technology and digital dependency. As the young hunter drifted into sleep 40,000 years ago, he carried with him the confidence of perfect memory. That same confidence is available to you tonight. The fire in the cave burned lower. The shadows grew longer. The tribe slept peacefully, their memories secured not in stone or stick, but in their own bodies, in the most reliable storage system ever evolved. Outside, the stars wheeled overhead, the same stars you can see tonight. Time collapses. The young hunter and you are connected by the same human neurology, the same need for memory, the same solution. In 10 seconds, everything can change. In 10 seconds, you can reclaim a power you never knew you'd lost. Your phone isn't helping you remember. It's teaching you to forget. Feel the relief of understanding this isn't your fault. Modern technology has created a problem that ancient wisdom can solve. Let yourself relax deeper as you discover why your memory feels weaker than it should be and how easily you can restore it. The young hunter woke before dawn, as he always did. Without opening his eyes, without any conscious effort, he touched his left thigh. Instantly, he remembered. Today's hunting ground was the meadow near the 3 bent pines, where the caribou had been gathering. His hand moved to his right shoulder. The weather memory surfaced. Wind from the west meant storms by afternoon. They needed to return early. His hand touched his belly. His sister needed willow bark for her daughter's fever. He'd seen some yesterday. His hand moved to his chest. The spear tip was loose and needed binding before the hunt. His hand touched his forehead. Tonight, he would tell his father about the wolf tracks he'd seen, the ones that were too close to camp. 5 touches. 5 memories, perhaps 6 seconds total. Everything he needed for the day was instantly available to his conscious mind. Not vague recollections, not fuzzy might-have-beens. Perfect, clear, actionable memory. He stood and prepared for the day with the calm confidence of someone who had never experienced the anxiety of forgotten responsibilities. Now imagine your typical morning. The alarm on your phone jolts you awake. Before your eyes fully open, before you've taken 3 breaths, your hand reaches for the screen. You check messages you missed while sleeping. You scan notifications. You open your calendar app to see what you're supposed to do today. You check your reminder list. You scroll through notes you left for yourself yesterday. 5 minutes of phone checking just to figure out what you already knew you needed to do. And even after all that, you'll probably forget something by lunchtime. This is digital amnesia in action. Your brain has learned that it doesn't need to encode information strongly because your phone will do the remembering. Researchers have proven this in study after study. When people know they'll have access to information later, their brains don't create strong memories of that information. It's called cognitive offloading, and it sounds efficient until you realize what it costs you. Every time you externalize a memory to your phone, instead of encoding it in your brain, you weaken your natural memory system a little more. Over years, over thousands of small externalized memories, your brain becomes dependent. You become unable to trust your own mind. The young hunter's tribe never faced this problem. They couldn't offload memory to external storage because external storage was unreliable or non-existent. Marks on cave walls could be misinterpreted. Notches on sticks could be lost. Patterns in dirt could be washed away by rain. The only truly reliable storage was the human body and brain. So evolution had given them something magnificent, the body map memory system. Your brain has a detailed map of your body encoded in the somatosensory cortex. This map knows where every part of you exists in space. When you close your eyes, you still know where your hand is. You still know where your feet are. This spatial body awareness is incredibly precise and it's active every moment of your life. Ancient humans discovered that they could attach memories to this spatial body map, creating associations that were nearly impossible to forget. When you touch your left thigh while thinking about something important, your brain creates a connection between that location and that information. The memory becomes anchored in physical space and body awareness, not just floating in abstract thought. Modern neuroscience has validated what ancient humans proved through practice. The somatosensory cortex has much stronger memory encoding capabilities than the prefrontal cortex, where most of your phone-triggered memories live. When you read something on your phone, it enters your prefrontal cortex as abstract information. There's no spatial anchor, no physical component, no multisensory encoding. It's weak and easily forgotten. But when you touch your body while encoding a memory, you create dual pathway storage. The information exists in both semantic memory and spatial body memory. This redundancy makes forgetting nearly impossible. The young hunter learned this technique as a small child, watching his mother and father perform the ritual every evening. By age 4, he could remember 5 things perfectly. By age 10, he could remember 15 things across multiple body locations. By age 20, his memory was so reliable that he was trusted to remember complex information for the entire tribe. Migration routes, water source locations, plant identification, tool-making sequences, social obligations, spiritual stories. All of it stored in the space of his own body, accessible through simple touch. You have the same capability, the same neural pathways, the same somatosensory cortex. The only difference is that your pathway has been dormant, unused, atrophied through years of digital dependency. But neuroplasticity means you can rebuild it. In fact, you can rebuild it faster than you might think. The pathway isn't gone. It's just covered over, like an old trail through a forest. Once you start using it again, it clears quickly. Your breath is slowing naturally as you understand this. Feel the ancient safety in knowing that your body has always been enough. Your ancestors survived ice ages with nothing but their minds and bodies. They remembered everything that mattered without any external technology. That same power lives in you. It's not lost. It's not broken. It's just waiting to be reactivated. The young hunters' tribe had a saying, "The body is the first tool." Before fire, before stone, before language itself, humans had their bodies. And the body map memory technique was one of the first sophisticated uses of that tool. When you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Your body is always with you. You can't lose it. It can't break. It can't run out of battery. It's the most reliable external reference point you have because it's not actually external at all. It's you. Modern people have lost touch with this understanding. We've externalized so much of our cognitive function that we've forgotten what our natural capabilities are. But you're remembering now. As you hear this story, as you imagine the young hunter touching his body map, your own neural pathways are beginning to activate. Your somatosensory cortex is waking up to possibilities it had forgotten. This isn't learning something new. This is remembering something ancient. Around the young hunter, other tribe members were also performing their morning memory retrieval. An elder woman touched her body points and remembered 20 different things. The location of every edible plant within 2 days' walk. The names of grandchildren born in distant tribes. The best techniques for preserving meat through summer. The history of conflicts and alliances spanning 40 years. All of this information, stored perfectly, retrieved effortlessly, through the simple act of touching her body in specific sequences. Imagine having that kind of memory confidence. Imagine trusting your own mind completely. No anxiety about forgotten tasks. No panic about missed appointments. No frustration about information that slips away. Just calm, reliable, effortless memory retrieval. This is what the 10-second technique gives you. This is what your phone has been preventing you from accessing. Digital amnesia isn't just about forgetting small things. It creates a fundamental anxiety in modern life. The constant low-level worry that you're forgetting something important. The need to check and recheck your phone. The inability to be fully present in moments because part of your mind is always wondering what you might be forgetting. This anxiety wasn't part of human experience for 99.9% of our existence as a species. It's new. It's artificial, and it's completely unnecessary once you reclaim your natural memory system. The sun rose over the Ice Age landscape. The young hunter and his companions prepared for the day's work. Not one of them checked a list. Not one of them felt anxiety about forgotten responsibilities. They moved with the calm confidence of people whose minds were completely reliable. This is your birthright too. This is the gift your ancestors left you. And tonight, before you sleep, you can begin to reclaim it. 10 seconds. 5 body points. Everything that matters stored in the most reliable system evolution ever created. Your own body, your own brain, your own ancient perfect memory. Safe and warm in ancient wisdom, the moment has arrived. The technique you've been waiting for is simpler than you imagined and more powerful than anything in your phone. Let your body relax completely as you discover the exact method that preserved human memory for 300,000 years. The elder sat by the fire with a child no more than 7 winters old. The teaching moment had come. This child would learn tonight what every human must know to thrive. The elder's voice was soft but certain. Watch carefully, little one. What I show you will serve you every day until your last breath. The child nodded, eyes wide with the seriousness that children have when they know something important is being shared. The elder closed his eyes. His left hand moved slowly to his left thigh and rested there for 2 seconds. This is where I keep the shelter memory, he said. Right now, I'm remembering that tomorrow we move camp to the valley where the river bends. The child watched intently. The elder's hand moved to his right shoulder and paused. This is where I keep the water memory. I'm remembering that the spring near the red rocks is flowing again after the thaw. His hand moved to his belly. This is where I keep the food memory. I'm remembering where we stored the dried meat and where to find fresh berries tomorrow. The child began to understand. It was so simple. The elder's hand moved to his chest. This is where I keep the danger memory. I'm remembering the cliff edge where 2 hunters fell last year, the place we must avoid. Finally, his hand touched his forehead. And this is where I keep the people memory. I'm remembering that your mother needs herbs and your father needs help repairing his shelter. 5 touches. 10 seconds total. The elder opened his eyes. Now you try, he said. The child hesitated, then copied the movement. Left thigh, right shoulder, belly, chest, forehead. Good, said the elder. Now tell those places what they need to remember for tomorrow. The child closed her eyes and began, touching each location as she assigned it a memory. Left thigh, remember to help grandmother gather wood. Right shoulder, remember where the good clay is for mother's pots. Belly, remember to eat the dried fish before it spoils. Chest, remember to stay away from the frozen river. Forehead, remember to ask father about making my first knife. When the child opened her eyes, she was smiling. It was that easy. The elder nodded. Tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, touch these 5 places again in the same order. Your memories will return. The child understood. This wasn't magic. This was using her body as a map, her sense of physical location as a memory anchor. This was working with how brains actually function instead of against them. This is the complete technique. 5 body locations. Touch each one for about 2 seconds while thinking clearly about what you want to remember. The total process takes 10 seconds. That's all. The locations the elder used are traditional, but you can customize them. What matters is that you use the same locations consistently and that each location corresponds to a different type of memory. Your left thigh can be your morning priority, the first important thing you need to do tomorrow. Your right shoulder can be your midday task. Something that needs attention after your morning is complete. Your belly can be your communication memory, the call you need to make, the message you need to send, the conversation you need to have. Your chest can be your personal goal or care task, something for your own well-being or growth. Your forehead can be your evening plan or tomorrow's preparation, what you need to set up for future success. These are just suggestions. The beauty of the body map technique is that it adapts to your life. Some people use all 5 points for work priorities. Some people dedicate different points to different life areas: family, work, health, creativity, relationships. The assignment doesn't matter as much as the consistency. Once you decide what each location represents, keep it the same for at least 3 days. This allows your brain to build strong associations between location and memory type. Notice how your own body feels right now. Touch your left hand gently. Feel the warmth. This is your memory anchor. This physical sensation, this awareness of your body in space, this is more reliable than any technology. Your body can't crash.
Can't lose data. Can't run out of battery. Can't be hacked.
It's simply there, always, ready to serve as your memory system. The child performed the body map technique that night before sleep, just as the elder had taught her. The next morning, she woke and touched her 5 points. Every memory returned instantly. Her face lit with joy.
It works, grandmother. It really works.
The grandmother smiled.
Of course it works.
It's worked for longer than any of us can remember. This is how humans remember. This is what we've always done. Your ancestors who survived famines, migrations, ice ages, and countless challenges did so because they could remember critical information without external storage. The body map was their technology. It was more reliable than marks on cave walls, more portable than any physical object, more secure than any location-based storage. It was perfect because it was inseparable from themselves. You have the same tool. Right now, as you lie here learning about this technique, your somatosensory cortex is activating. Your brain is beginning to recognize the possibility. The neural pathways that have been dormant are starting to clear. You don't need to do anything except understand. Your nervous system is already responding to this ancient knowledge. Feel your whole body at once. This awareness is your greatest memory tool. This proprioception, this sense of where you are in space, this is older than language.
Older than tools, older than fire.
This is the foundation of human consciousness, and memory anchored to this foundation cannot easily be forgotten. The 10-second body map secret isn't secret at all. It's been in plain sight for 300,000 years.
Every human who ever lived had access to it.
Most of them used it. Only in the last few decades have humans forgotten this natural technique in favor of digital dependency. But you're remembering now, and tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, you'll touch your 5 body points and discover that your own mind is more powerful than you've been taught to believe. Remember learning something perfectly as a child. Let that feeling return. The ease, the joy, the absolute confidence that you knew something completely. Cave children felt this every day because they used memory the way nature designed it. Their secret wasn't complicated. It was play. 3 children sat in a circle outside the cave, afternoon sun warming their backs. The youngest was only 4 winters old, barely able to speak in full sentences, but old enough to learn the body map. The eldest was 9, already skilled at tracking and tool-making. The middle child was 6, energetic and curious about everything. Together they were turning memory practice into a game. "Touch your thigh and say one thing you'll do tomorrow," the eldest said. The youngest touched her left thigh and said, "Help Mama with baby." The middle child touched his left thigh and said, "Find the spotted stones for painting." The eldest touched her left thigh and said, "Practice throwing spear at tree target." Now touch your shoulder and say something you learned today. The game continued, each child touching body points and associating them with memories, all while laughing and enjoying the afternoon. This is how cave children learned the technique, not through serious instruction.
Not through forced memorization.
Through play, through repetition that felt like fun, through social learning that made memory practice a shared experience. By the time a child reached 7 or 8 winters, the body map was completely automatic. They never had to think about it. Touch and remember had become as natural as breathing. Modern children have the same capability, but it's being suppressed. A child can memorize hundreds of Pokemon characters, their types, their evolutions, their strengths and weaknesses. That same child forgets their homework, their chores, their responsibilities. Why? Because the Pokemon engage multiple memory systems. Visual memory, category memory, relationship memory, and most importantly, emotional memory. The child cares about Pokemon. But homework lives only in abstract prefrontal cortex memory, the weakest memory system humans have. If you taught a modern child the body map technique through play, they would master it in a single afternoon. Their neuroplasticity is even stronger than yours. Their body awareness is natural and unself-conscious. They haven't yet learned to distrust their own memory. A 4-year-old who learns the body map will use it for life, just as cave children did. The 3 children finished their game and ran to show their parents what they'd remembered. Each child perfectly recalled 5 things. The parents smiled with approval. This was how culture survived. This was how knowledge passed from generation to generation, not through written records or digital storage, but through embodied practice that started in childhood and continued until death. Cave children never experienced the anxiety of forgetting. They never felt the frustration of knowing they were supposed to remember something, but having no idea what it was. They never developed the modern habit of constant self-doubt about their own memory. From their earliest memories, they knew their bodies were reliable memory systems. This gave them a confidence that's rare in modern children. Imagine a child growing up with complete memory confidence.
Never forgetting what they were told to do.
Never losing track of their responsibilities. Never experiencing that sinking feeling of disappointing adults because they forgot something important. This was normal for cave children. This was their everyday experience, and it created adults who moved through life with calm certainty about their own minds. The youngest child, only 4 winters old, touched her body map before sleep that night. Her tiny hand moved across the 5 points with surprising precision. She was remembering to help her mother, to stay away from the steep path, to bring water to grandmother, to ask about the birds she'd seen, to sleep near her sister for warmth. 5 memories perfectly encoded by a 4-year-old child who couldn't yet count to 20. Your brain hasn't lost this capability. Age doesn't erase the somatosensory cortex. If anything, your body awareness is more developed now than it was in childhood. You have decades of knowing where your body is in space. You have refined proprioception. You have sophisticated spatial memory.
What you lack isn't capability.
What you lack is practice and permission. Feel the ancient ease returning.
Learning this way is natural. This is how your neurology wants to work.
Cave children weren't special. They weren't different from modern children. They just used their natural memory systems instead of fighting against them. You can do the same.
Starting tonight.
10 seconds before sleep. 5 body points. 5 things you want to remember tomorrow. Your inner child already knows how to do this. The children slept peacefully that night. Their memories secured in the most reliable system evolution ever created. Their bodies, their awareness, their perfect union of physical sensation and mental information. Tomorrow they would wake and remember everything without effort, and they would never doubt that their minds were strong and reliable. This birthright is still yours. This natural confidence is still available. All you have to do is touch your body and remember what you've always known. Memory lives in flesh.
Memory lives in space.
Memory lives in the eternal present of proprioception, just as it did for cave children, just as it still does for you. Your ancestors proved what scientists would later confirm. Feel how your body already understands this truth. The wisdom doesn't need explanation to work. It needs only practice. Let understanding arrive without effort as ancient technique meets modern validation. Night deepened in the cave. A grandmother knelt beside her sleeping grandchild, a girl of perhaps 6 winters. The child had performed her body map before sleep, encoding 5 memories for tomorrow. Now, as she slept, the grandmother gently touched each of the child's 5 memory points in sequence.
Left thigh.
Right shoulder, belly, chest, forehead. The touch was soft, loving, barely enough to register in the sleeping mind. But it was enough. The grandmother understood something profound without knowing the scientific terms for it. Memory consolidation happens during sleep. When we sleep, the brain replays the day's experiences, strengthening important neural connections and pruning away unnecessary ones. By touching the child's body map points during sleep, the grandmother was reinforcing the memory anchors. The sleeping brain would process the physical sensation and strengthen the association between touch location and stored information. Tomorrow morning, the child's recall would be even stronger than if she'd simply encoded the memories once before sleep. Modern neuroscience has validated this ancient practice with remarkable precision. The somatosensory cortex, the brain region that maps your body's location in space, has extraordinarily strong connections to the hippocampus, the brain's primary memory formation center. When you touch your body while thinking about information, you create what researchers call multimodal encoding. The memory isn't stored in just one brain region. It's stored in multiple regions simultaneously with multiple types of coding. Semantic coding for the meaning, spatial coding for the location, somatic coding for the physical sensation, emotional coding for the significance. This multimodal encoding creates redundancy. If one pathway to the memory weakens, 3 others remain strong. This is why body map memories are so difficult to forget. You'd have to lose multiple brain systems simultaneously. Compared to phone-based memory, which relies entirely on external storage with 0 internal encoding, the body map is infinitely more reliable. The grandmother finished her gentle reinforcement and returned to her own sleeping place. She'd performed this ritual for every child in the tribe, just as it had been done for her when she was young. She didn't know about neural plasticity or memory consolidation or the somatosensory cortex, but she knew the results. Children who received this nighttime reinforcement became adults with exceptional memory. They became the knowledge keepers, the navigators, the medicine makers. They became the ones the tribe relied on. Scientists studying memory formation have discovered that the somatosensory cortex has approximately 10 times more neurons dedicated to it than the prefrontal cortex regions associated with abstract memory. 10 times more processing power.
10 times more encoding strength. 10 times more reliability. Evolution didn't make this investment randomly.
For millions of years, body-aware memory kept humans alive. Abstract thought memory is relatively new, evolutionarily speaking. It's sophisticated but weak. Body memory is ancient and powerful. When modern researchers ask people to remember information while touching specific body locations, recall rates increase by 60% to 300% depending on the type of information. The technique works even when people have no belief in it, no understanding of why it works, no previous practice. It works because it aligns with how brains are actually built. It works because it's using neural highways that have existed for millions of years instead of neural side paths that barely evolved. Your breath is slowing as this understanding settles into your body. You don't need to memorize these scientific facts. You don't need to understand the neurology. The technique works whether you understand it or not, just as it worked for the grandmother who had never heard the word hippocampus. What matters is that you trust your body. What matters is that you give yourself permission to use this ancient system. The sleeping child's brain was working through the night, consolidating the memories her grandmother had reinforced. Neural connections were strengthening. Synapses were potentiating. Proteins were being synthesized. All of this happened automatically without conscious effort, while the child dreamed of running through meadows and climbing trees. Tomorrow she would wake and remember everything, not because she had a special brain, but because her memory was encoded the way evolution designed memory to be encoded. Feel your own body right now. This is your memory palace. This is your storage system. Every part of you that you can sense, every location you can touch, every spatial position you can feel is a potential anchor for perfect recall. The somatosensory cortex is waiting to be used this way. It wants to be used this way. This is its primary function. Not just to tell you where your body is, but to anchor information to your body's position in space. Thousands of years after the grandmother reinforced her grandchild's memories, scientists would publish papers confirming what she knew intuitively. Touch-based memory encoding activates more brain regions simultaneously than any other memory technique. The combination of physical sensation, spatial awareness, and intentional focus creates what researchers call a memory superhighway. Information encoded this way resists forgetting with remarkable strength. The grandmother slept peacefully, knowing that the knowledge had been passed on successfully. The child would remember. The child would teach her own children someday. The technique would survive another generation. And it did survive for hundreds of thousands of years, until the very recent moment when digital technology convinced humans they didn't need their natural memory systems anymore. But the systems haven't disappeared. They're still there,
Still waiting.
still capable of the same extraordinary recall that kept your ancestors alive and thriving. Tonight, you begin to remember what you've always had the power to do. Your body knows. Your brain knows. Now you know too. Imagine waking tomorrow with complete clarity. All important memories instantly available. This was every morning for your ancestors. Feel the peace of that possibility as understanding deepens and sleep draws closer. Dawn arrived gently over the Ice Age landscape. No alarm shattered the quiet. No notification sounds pierced the peace. The tribe woke gradually, naturally, as the first light touched the cave entrance. One by one, people stirred from sleep, their bodies moving through the same morning ritual that had served humans for countless generations. The young hunter opened his eyes. Before sitting up, before taking his first full breath of the day, his hand moved to his left thigh. The memory returned instantly. Today's hunting ground. The meadow near the three bent pines. The information was clear. certain, complete. His hand moved to his right shoulder.
Weather warning.
Wind from the west. Potential storms by afternoon. Return early. His hand continued across his body map. Belly. Sister needs willow bark. Chest. Repair spear binding. Forehead. Tell father about wolf tracks.
10 seconds total.
Complete clarity achieved. He sat up, fully oriented to his day.
No confusion. No forgotten priorities.
No anxiety about what he might be overlooking. He knew exactly what needed to happen and in what order. This certainty allowed him to move with calm efficiency. While modern humans waste the first 30 minutes of their day trying to reconstruct their priorities through phone checking and list reviewing, the young hunter was already preparing his tools and planning his route. Around him, other tribe members were performing the same morning ritual. The grandmother touched her body map and remembered 15 things. The young mother touched hers and remembered care tasks for her children, food preparation needs, and a gathering location for later. The elder hunter touched his and remembered complex navigation details for the day's exploration. Each person woke with complete mental clarity. Each person started their day from a place of confidence rather than confusion. Compare this to a modern morning. The phone alarm jolts you from deep sleep. Before your brain has fully transitioned from sleep to waking, you're reaching for your phone. The screen's blue light floods your retinas, suppressing melatonin and triggering cortisol. You scroll through notifications, messages, emails, news, social media. Your brain is bombarded with information before it's completed the natural wake-up process. By the time you actually start thinking about your own day, your cognitive resources are already partially depleted. Then you check your calendar app, your to-do list, your reminder notifications. You try to reconstruct what you decided was important yesterday. Half the time you find tasks you don't even remember creating. Notes that made sense last week but now seem cryptic. Priorities that have shifted but haven't been updated. The digital system that was supposed to make life easier has actually created more cognitive load.
More decisions. More uncertainty. More anxiety. The young hunter had none of this.
His morning was peaceful. His mind was clear. His priorities were certain. Not because his life was simpler, but because his memory system was superior. He faced challenges that would terrify modern humans: predators, starvation, hypothermia, injury without medicine. Yet his mornings were calmer than yours because he woke with complete mental clarity about what mattered. The tribe gathered near the fire for the morning meal.
No one was checking devices.
No one was distracted by screens. Every person was fully present, fully oriented to the day ahead. They discussed plans briefly, each person contributing their knowledge and coordinating efforts. The discussion was efficient because no one had to keep asking what they were supposed to do or where they were supposed to be. The body map had already provided that information. Your breath matches ancient rhythms now. Feel how natural this could be. Tomorrow morning, before reaching for your phone, you could touch 5 points on your body and know everything that matters. The peace this would create, the confidence, the mental clarity.
This isn't fantasy.
This is simply using your neurology the way it was designed to work. Modern sleep researchers have discovered something important about the morning wake-up process. The transition from sleep to waking involves critical memory consolidation. The first few minutes after waking are when your brain is most receptive to accessing memories that were processed during the night. This is the optimal window for memory retrieval. But modern humans fill this window with phone notifications and external information, completely missing the opportunity to access their own internally consolidated memories. Cave humans intuitively understood this timing. The morning body map ritual wasn't just about remembering. It was about allowing the brain to complete its natural memory consolidation cycle. Touch the body points. Give the brain a simple retrieval cue. Allow the overnight consolidation to surface naturally. This process takes seconds but provides clarity that lasts all day. The young hunter finished his morning meal and gathered his hunting tools. His mind was still calm, still clear. He hadn't experienced a single moment of memory-related anxiety, no wondering if he'd forgotten something, no mental nagging about overlooked priorities, just simple confidence in his own mind. This psychological state is so rare in modern life that most people don't even know it's possible. But it was normal for cave humans. It can be normal for you too. As the sun rose higher, the tribe dispersed to their various tasks. Each person moved with purpose. Each person knew their role. Each person carried complete awareness of their priorities. The morning ritual had set them up for successful days. Tomorrow morning, you can experience the same clarity. Touch your body map. Trust the memories that surface. Start your day from certainty instead of confusion. This is the gift your ancestors left you. This is the morning peace that's been waiting for you to reclaim it. Touch your shoulder softly. Feel the ancient strength there.
This is your inheritance.
The body map wasn't just convenient for your ancestors. It was the difference between life and death. Let this truth settle into your awareness as you drift deeper into rest. The hunting party stood at the cave entrance, preparing to leave for a 3-day expedition. This wasn't a casual afternoon hunt. This was a serious journey into territory where saber-toothed cats prowled and weather could turn deadly without warning. The lead hunter, a man of 30 winters with scars that told stories of survival, performed his body map with extra care. His life and the lives of his 5 companions depended on what he remembered. Left thigh. Safe return route through the valley pass, avoiding the unstable cliff face where rocks fell last spring. Right shoulder. Predator warnings from yesterday's scout, particularly the fresh cat tracks near the river crossing. Belly. Weather pattern knowledge passed down from the elders, reading the morning sky for storm predictions. Chest. Group coordination signals for silent communication when prey was near or danger approached. Forehead. Family. Waiting at home. The reason to be cautious, the motivation to return safely. 10 seconds.
5 touches.
Information that would determine whether 6 men returned or whether 6 families mourned. This wasn't abstract memory. This was survival encoded into flesh. The lead hunter opened his eyes and nodded to his companions. Each of them had performed their own body maps. Each of them carried the critical information they needed. They set off into the wilderness with confidence born from reliable memory. 3 days later, all 6 men returned safely with enough meat to feed the tribe for a week. During the hunt, the lead hunter had touched his right shoulder and remembered the cat tracks, choosing a different route that avoided danger. He touched his belly and remembered the weather signs, leading the group to shelter hours before a violent storm struck. He touched his left thigh and remembered the safe return route, navigating through darkness without injury. The body map had saved their lives multiple times. Your ancestors, who didn't use this technique, didn't survive to pass on their genes.
This is important to understand.
Memory reliability was under intense evolutionary pressure for millions of years. Forgetting where you stored food meant starvation. Forgetting the signs of predators meant death. Forgetting the location of water meant dying of thirst. Forgetting safe routes meant falling from cliffs or getting lost in unknown territory. The humans who survived were the ones whose memory systems were most reliable. The body map technique emerged because it solved this evolutionary pressure perfectly. It didn't require external tools that could be lost or broken. It didn't require specific locations that might become inaccessible. It didn't require other people who might not be present. It only required your own body, which was always with you, and your own spatial awareness, which never failed. This made it the ultimate survival technology. You literally inherited this capability from the ancestors who mastered it. The neural pathways are encoded in your DNA. The somatosensory cortex structure that makes body map memory possible is passed down through generations. You exist because thousands of your ancestors used this technique successfully enough to survive, reproduce, and pass the capability forward. When you use the body map, you're not learning something foreign. You're activating something that's been waiting in your neurology since birth. The hunting party sat around the fire that night, recounting their journey. Each man touched his body map before sleep, encoding lessons learned. The place where fresh water was found, the animal behavior patterns observed, the new route discovered, the tool improvements needed. All of this information would be remembered perfectly, available for future hunts, contributing to the tribe's collective knowledge base. Feel the genetic inheritance in your own body. Your shoulder carries the strength of ancestors who remembered danger warnings. Your thigh holds the wisdom of ancestors who remembered safe paths. Your belly contains the knowledge of ancestors who remembered sustenance locations. Your chest holds the courage of ancestors who remembered their purpose. Your forehead carries the foresight of ancestors who remembered to plan ahead. This isn't metaphor. This is literal inheritance through evolutionary selection. Modern life rarely presents life or death memory challenges. You won't die if you forget to buy milk or miss a meeting.
But your brain doesn't know that.
Your neurology is still running on evolutionary programming that treats memory reliability as survival critical. When you forget things, you experience anxiety because your ancient brain interprets forgetting as danger. The stress you feel about forgotten tasks is your evolutionary alarm system activating inappropriately in a modern context. The body map technique resolves this by giving your ancient brain what it wants. Reliable memory. When you encode information through body touch, your brain recognizes this as the proper memory formation process. The anxiety decreases. The confidence increases. You're working with your evolutionary programming instead of against it. This creates a psychological peace that digital memory systems can never provide. The lead hunter slept deeply that night, his body map encoded with perfect clarity. Tomorrow he would wake and remember everything. The technique that had saved his life would continue to serve him every day. 40,000 years later, you have access to the same technique, the same neural pathways, the same evolutionary inheritance. Your life might not depend on it the way his did, but your peace of mind does. Your confidence does. Your freedom from digital dependency does. Touch your body and remember. This is what survival has always required. This is what thriving still requires. Think of a story from your childhood you'll never forget. Notice how it lives in your body, not your phone. This is the ancient way. This is how human knowledge survived for millennia. Feel the power of this understanding as sleep comes closer. Around the evening fire, the tribe gathered for the most important ritual of the day. The storyteller, an elder woman with silver hair and eyes that had seen 70 winters, began to speak. Her voice was rhythmic, almost musical, as she recounted the history of their people, where they had come from, which tribes they were allied with, which territories were safe and which were contested, how to find the sacred caves where ancestors painted their stories, how to read the stars for navigation, how to identify which plants heal and which plants poison. As she spoke, her hands moved across her body in deliberate patterns. When she spoke of the eastern territories, she touched her right shoulder. When she spoke of the southern migration routes, she touched her left thigh. When she spoke of plant medicine, she touched her belly. When she spoke of spiritual matters, she touched her chest. When she spoke of future prophecies, she touched her forehead. The listeners watched carefully, touching their own body maps in synchronization with her movements. This was how knowledge transferred across generations without writing. This was how complex information survived for hundreds of thousands of years without external storage. The combination of story, emotion, rhythm, and body map encoding created memory so strong that tribal histories spanning centuries were remembered word for word by people who had never written a single symbol. Modern people struggle to imagine this level of memory capability. We assume that writing is necessary for preserving knowledge. We think that without documentation, information must be lost or corrupted. But Aboriginal cultures around the world have proven otherwise. Songlines in Australia preserve navigation information across thousands of miles. Oral histories in Africa maintain genealogies spanning hundreds of years. Native American traditions preserve ecological knowledge with perfect accuracy across centuries, all without writing, all through body-anchored memory systems. The human brain evolved for this kind of memory. For 290,000 years of modern human existence, we had no writing. Yet we preserved incredibly complex knowledge.
Medical information, navigation data, social structures, astronomical observations,
Technological techniques.
spiritual wisdom.
Everything that mattered survived through embodied memory practices. Writing only emerged 5,000 years ago. Digital storage only 30 years ago. For 98% of human existence, memory lived in bodies, not in books or databases. Your brain still has this capability. The neural structures haven't changed in the last 5,000 years. You have the same memory potential as the storyteller sitting by the Ice Age fire. What you lack isn't capacity. What you lack is practice and cultural transmission. The storytelling tradition has been largely replaced by written and digital storage. But the underlying neurology remains unchanged and ready to be reactivated. The storyteller finished her tale, and the listeners began to practice their recall. They touched their body maps and recounted what they'd heard. The storyteller corrected minor errors and reinforced accurate memories. Within 3 repetitions, every listener had encoded the entire story with perfect accuracy. Tomorrow they could retell it. Next month, they could retell it. Next year, they could retell it. 10 years later, they could retell it. The body map encoding created permanent memory. Feel how stories live in your body. When you remember your favorite childhood memory, where do you feel it? Most people report physical sensations.
Warmth in the chest,
Tingling in the limbs.
tightness in the throat.
Butterflies in the stomach. Memory isn't just in your head. Memory is embodied. The storyteller knew this intuitively. She encoded information into body space deliberately. Modern neuroscience confirms she was using the most powerful memory formation technique available to humans. The tribe settled into sleep that night, their minds full of stories, their bodies holding the map of tribal knowledge. Each person had encoded not just the words, but the feelings, the images, the significance. This multi-layered encoding ensured that even if details faded, the essential knowledge remained accessible. Touch the body map, and the story returned. Touch the body map, and the wisdom surfaced. Touch the body map, and the ancestors spoke through memory. Writing appeared 5,000 years ago as a convenience, not a necessity. Humans already had perfect information storage through body memory systems. Writing allowed for wider distribution and longer preservation without requiring person-to-person transmission. But it came with costs. As writing became dominant, embodied memory practices faded. People stopped training their natural memory systems. They externalized more and more cognitive function. Eventually, most people lost touch with their innate memory capabilities entirely. Digital storage accelerated this loss dramatically. Why remember anything when your phone remembers everything? The question seems logical until you realize that external memory creates dependency, anxiety, and cognitive weakness. Your brain atrophies what it doesn't use. Memory systems that aren't exercised become unreliable. Digital amnesia isn't just forgetting information stored on devices. It's the systematic weakening of your natural memory formation capabilities. The storyteller would live another 20 winters, spending every evening by the fire passing knowledge forward through story and body map encoding. She would teach dozens of young people who would themselves become knowledge keepers. The chain of memory would continue unbroken for another 1,000 generations until the modern era when writing and then digital storage would finally interrupt the ancient practice. But the capability remains in you. The neural pathways wait. The body map system is ready to serve you the way it served the storyteller, and every human who came before writing was invented. Your body knows how to do this. Feel the ancient knowing rising from within. This isn't learning. This is remembering. This is coming home to a capability that's always been yours. The storyteller's voice echoes across 40,000 years, reaching forward through time to remind you of what you've always possessed. Memory lives in flesh. Knowledge lives in space. Wisdom lives in the eternal present of proprioception, just as it did for the storyteller, just as it still does for you tonight. Choose one thing you want to remember tomorrow. Just one. Place it gently on your left thigh.
Feel how natural this is.
Ancient and modern merge as your sleep becomes the memory workshop it was always meant to be. A young tribe member, perhaps 16 winters old, stood before the elders seeking approval to join the adult hunting parties. The test was simple but absolute. Could he remember complex information reliably? The lead elder gave him 10 pieces of information: routes, signals, danger signs, weather indicators, emergency protocols. The young man closed his eyes and touched his body map, using all 10 fingers across multiple locations: thighs, shoulders, belly, chest, forehead, upper arms, forearms, hips, knees, feet.
10 locations, 10 memories.
20 seconds total. 3 days later, the elders called him back. Recite what you were told. The young man touched his body map in sequence.
Every detail returned perfectly.
Not approximate recall. Perfect recall. He had encoded the information so thoroughly through body touch that forgetting was impossible. The elders nodded. He was ready. He had proven he could be trusted with information that meant life or death. He would join the hunt. This is your modern adaptation. You don't need to remember survival information, but you do need to remember priorities, tasks, commitments, and plans. The technique works identically. Before sleep tonight, spend 10 seconds touching 5 body points while thinking of tomorrow's priorities. Your brain will encode this into spatial body memory during sleep. Morning recall will be automatic, effortless, complete. Left thigh becomes your morning priority. The first important thing tomorrow. Maybe it's a work deadline. Maybe it's a conversation you need to have. Maybe it's exercise or meditation or creative work. Whatever matters most in your morning hours, place it on your left thigh. Close your eyes. Touch the spot firmly enough to feel it clearly. Think about the specific task. See yourself doing it. Feel the importance of it. Hold this for 2 seconds. The encoding is complete. Right shoulder becomes your midday focus. The task or meeting or activity that defines the middle of your day. Touch your right shoulder. Feel the strength there. Imagine yourself at midday, engaged in this priority. 2 seconds of clear intention. The memory anchors to this location. Belly becomes your communication need. The call you must make, the email you must send, the message you must deliver, the conversation you must have. Touch your belly.
Feel your breath there.
Imagine the communication happening successfully. 2 seconds, encoded chest becomes your personal care task. Something for your own well-being. Exercise, meditation, creative work, rest, connection with loved ones. Touch your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Imagine yourself engaged in this self-care. 2 seconds, anchored. Forehead becomes your evening plan. What you need to set up for tomorrow. Preparation tasks. Planning activities, things that ensure future success. Touch your forehead. Feel the wisdom there. Imagine your evening self completing this preparation. 2 seconds, complete 5 points.
10 seconds total. Modern life integrated with ancient technique.
Your neurology doesn't distinguish between Ice Age survival priorities and modern work priorities. The encoding mechanism works identically. Touch, intention, spatial awareness, memory formation. The process that kept your ancestors alive now keeps your modern life organized, clear, and stress-free. The young tribe member went on his first adult hunt with complete confidence. He remembered every signal, every protocol, every piece of critical information. The body map had proven itself once again. 40,000 years later, you're about to prove it for yourself. Tonight, before sleep.
10 seconds. 5 priorities.
Tomorrow morning, before touching your phone, touch your body map. Watch what happens.
Watch how the memories surface clearly, naturally, as if you never could have forgotten them.
Because you used the system your brain was designed for. Feel the excitement transmuting into calm confidence.
This isn't complicated.
This isn't difficult.
This is natural.
Your somatosensory cortex is ready. Your hippocampus is prepared to consolidate. Your spatial memory systems are waiting to be engaged. All you need to do is touch 5 points and think 5 thoughts.
10 seconds.
That's the complete practice. Some people worry they'll choose the wrong body locations. There are no wrong locations. The technique adapts to your choices. What matters is consistency, not perfection. Use the same 5 locations for at least 3 days. This allows your brain to build strong location memory associations. After 3 days, the system becomes automatic. You'll touch your left thigh and morning priorities will surface without conscious effort. You'll touch your forehead and evening plans will appear fully formed. Other people worry they'll forget to do the body map practice. This concern dissolves quickly. Once you experience the clarity of remembering everything you encoded the night before, you'll want to do it every night. The technique is self-reinforcing. Success creates motivation. Motivation creates consistency. Consistency creates habit. Within 2 weeks, the bedtime body map becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth. The young tribe member grew into a skilled hunter, then a teacher, then an elder. Every single day of his life, he used the body map technique.
Morning retrieval, evening encoding.
The practice that had proven his readiness at 16 served him until his last breath at 71. He never experienced the anxiety of forgetting. He never doubted his own mind. He lived in constant confidence that his memory was reliable. This psychological state is rare in modern life, but it's available to you starting tonight. Your modern version doesn't require perfection. Start with 5 priorities. If you can only think of 3 tomorrow, use 3. If you need 7, add more body locations. The system is flexible. What's not flexible is the underlying neuroscience. Touch plus intention plus spatial awareness equals powerful encoding. This equation worked 40,000 years ago. It works tonight. It will work tomorrow morning when you discover that your own mind is more reliable than any digital system ever created. Tomorrow morning, before anything else, before phone checking or email or news or social media, touch your 5 body points in sequence.
Left thigh.
Right shoulder, belly, chest, forehead, just touch them. Don't strain, don't force. Just touch and notice what surfaces in your awareness. The memories will return, not as vague maybes,
As clear certainties.
This is how you'll know the technique worked. This is how you'll know your ancient memory system has reactivated. Touch and remember, the way humans have for 300,000 years. The way you can starting tomorrow morning. Feel how your body already knows it's learning time. This is your natural memory hour. The technique works now, in this moment, as you drift towards sleep. Understanding and practice merge into one gentle action. Night in the cave. One by one, tribe members performed their memory ritual before sleep. This timing wasn't random. This timing wasn't just convenient. This timing was essential to how the technique achieves its extraordinary power. The elder explained to a young learner, daytime is for experiencing, nighttime is for encoding. Sleep does the work we cannot do while awake. The young learner listened carefully. During the day we gather information, the elder said.
We see, we hear.
We experience. But this information is temporary, held in what we now call working memory. Before sleep, we choose what matters. We touch our body map and tell our sleeping mind which experiences to preserve and which to release. Then during sleep, the mind does its deep work. It takes the information we marked as important and weaves it into permanent memory. Morning comes, and what we encoded is now part of us forever. Modern sleep science has validated this ancient understanding with remarkable precision. During sleep, particularly during deep sleep and REM sleep, the brain consolidates memories. The hippocampus replays the day's experiences, deciding what to keep and what to discard. Experiences that were emotionally significant or deliberately marked as important get consolidated into long-term storage. Everything else fades. When you perform the body map before sleep, you're giving your hippocampus clear spatial body anchors to work with during overnight consolidation. The combination of touch sensation, spatial location, and intentional focus creates a strong signal that says, This information matters. Preserve this. Your sleeping brain responds by consolidating these specifically marked memories with extra strength. By morning, the memories have been thoroughly processed and are accessible through the simplest retrieval cue: touching the same body locations. The tribe member touched his body map that evening.
Left thigh, tomorrow's hunting location.
Right shoulder, the weather signs observed today. Belly, the meal preparation needs for tomorrow. Chest, the tool repair before dawn. Forehead, the story he wanted to tell his children. 5 memories deliberately marked. 5 signals sent to his sleeping brain. Now, as he drifted towards sleep, the work would begin automatically. Research on memory consolidation shows that the transition period between waking and sleeping, called the hypnagogic state, is particularly powerful for memory formation. In this twilight consciousness, the brain is especially receptive to encoding information. The body map performed during this window gets processed with unusual strength. This is why practicing the technique right before sleep, as you're doing now, creates such powerful results. Your breath is slowing naturally. Your body is settling into sleep preparation. This is the perfect state for body map encoding. Notice how understanding arrives without effort. You don't need to memorize these facts. You don't need to remember how sleep consolidation works. You just need to practice the technique. Your sleeping brain will handle the rest. The tribe member's breathing deepened. His conscious mind began to fade. But in his sleeping brain, the consolidation process was already starting. The 5 body locations he'd touched were being replayed. The memories attached to those locations were being strengthened. Neural connections were forming. Proteins were being synthesized. The temporary memories were becoming permanent. All of this happened automatically without effort while he dreamed. Modern people often try to memorize important information during the day using concentration and repetition and effort. This works, but it's exhausting and inefficient. The brain wasn't designed for forced memorization. The brain was designed for sleep consolidation. When you try to force memory formation during waking hours, you're fighting against your natural neurology. When you encode before sleep and let consolidation happen overnight, you're working with your neurology. The difference in results is dramatic. Studies show that information encoded before sleep and then consolidated during sleep is remembered 40% better than information encoded during the day without sleep consolidation. The body map technique multiplies this advantage further because it adds spatial somatic anchoring to the sleep consolidation process. You're not just letting sleep strengthen memories, you're giving sleep specifically marked, spatially anchored, somatically encoded memories to work with. The result is memory formation so strong it approaches permanence. The tribe member slept deeply. His body was still. His breath was rhythmic. But his brain was incredibly active. The hippocampus was consolidating. The cortex was storing. The body map locations were being reinforced. Tomorrow morning, touching those 5 spots would trigger instant, complete recall. Not because he had practiced during the day, because he had encoded before sleep and let sleep do its work. Feel the relief of understanding that memory formation doesn't require daytime effort. You don't need to drill information into your head through repetition. You don't need to spend mental energy trying to hold on to priorities. You just need to encode before sleep. 10 seconds, 5 touches, 5 clear intentions. Then let go. Let sleep handle the consolidation. Trust the process that kept humans alive for hundreds of thousands of years. This is why bedtime is the perfect time to learn the body map technique. You're not just learning about it intellectually, you're practicing it at the optimal moment. Right now, as you drift towards sleep, you can encode your first 5 memories. Tomorrow morning, you'll discover they're perfectly preserved. This immediate experiential proof is more powerful than any explanation could be. The elder who had taught the young tribe member smiled as he watched the camp settle into sleep, everyone performing their body map rituals. Everyone trusting sleep to do the work. Everyone waking tomorrow with clear minds and reliable memories. This was how humans were meant to live, in partnership with sleep. Using night to process day, trusting biology instead of fighting it, Morning would come. The tribe member would wake. He would touch his body map. 5 perfect memories would surface. He would move through his day with confidence and clarity. And that night, he would do it again. Encoding. Sleeping, consolidating, remembering. The cycle that turns temporary experience into permanent wisdom. The cycle that's available to you starting tonight. Your body already knows it's learning time. This moment, this drowsy, peaceful state, this is when the body map technique is most powerful. Not during the busy day when your mind is scattered. Not during stressed moments when cortisol interferes with memory formation. Now, in this calm, this quiet, this perfect readiness for sleep, the ancient timing meets your modern life. The technique that worked 40,000 years ago works tonight. Touch your body, mark your memories. Let sleep complete the work. Wake tomorrow changed. Feel how your body already knows these categories. Memory isn't chaos. It's organized by nature itself. Let this understanding bring peace as mental organization creates calm, reducing the overwhelm of modern information. The elder sat with 3 young learners around the evening fire. Tonight's lesson was crucial, understanding the 3 types of memory that matter. The elder touched his left thigh. This side of the body, he said, is for action memory.
The things you must do.
The tasks that require movement, completion, physical engagement with the world. Hunt, gather, build, repair, protect. All action memories live here. He touched his right side, shoulder to thigh. This side of the body is for learning memory. The knowledge you must keep. The skills you must preserve. How to read weather. How to identify plants. How to make tools. How to find direction. All learning memories live here. The young learners touched their own bodies, feeling the distinction between left and right, action and knowledge. Finally, the elder touched his center line, belly, chest, forehead. The center of the body is for connection memory. The people who matter, the relationships you nurture, the bonds you maintain, the social web that keeps us alive, mother, father, children, allies, teachers, all connection memories live here. The young learners nodded. 3 types, 3 body zones, perfect organization. This wasn't arbitrary division. This was working with how the brain naturally categorizes information. Modern neuroscience has discovered that different types of memory are processed in different brain regions. Procedural memory for actions, semantic memory for knowledge, episodic and social memory for relationships. The ancient body map technique aligned perfectly with these natural categories by assigning different body zones to different memory types. Think of one person who matters to you. Just one. Let them come naturally to your awareness. Now place them gently over your heart.
Feel the connection.
This is connection memory anchoring to your center line. Your brain recognizes this placement as appropriate, natural, right? When you touch your chest tomorrow, this person's needs and your relationship obligations will surface automatically.
Not because you're forcing memory.
Because you're using your body's natural organizational system. The 3 young learners practiced that night. One focused on action memories. Tomorrow's tasks across 5 left side body points. The second focused on learning memories. New knowledge across 5 right side body points. The third focused on connection memories, 5 important people across centerline body points. Each learner was customizing the body map to their current life needs while working within the 3 category framework. Your modern categories work identically. Action memory for your left side, the meeting you must attend, the email you must send, the exercise you must do, the food you must prepare, the call you must make.
All actions, all living on your left side.
Touch your left thigh right now. Feel how naturally it holds tomorrow's first action. This isn't invention. This is recognition of what's always been true. Learning memory for your right side. The information you're absorbing right now about the body map technique, the skill you're developing, the knowledge you're preserving, the understanding you're building. Touch your right shoulder. Feel how naturally it holds new knowledge. Your brain is already organizing this information spatially, anchoring it to body location without conscious effort. Connection memory for your center line. The person you need to call tomorrow. The relationship that needs attention. The family member who needs support. The friend you promised to meet. The colleague you need to thank. Touch your chest. Feel the warmth there. Feel how naturally relationships anchor to this location. Your heart knows who matters. Your body knows where to store this knowing. The three young learners slept peacefully that night, their memories perfectly organized across their body maps. One would wake remembering 5 actions. One would wake remembering 5 pieces of knowledge. One would wake remembering 5 people and their needs. Each learner had used the same fundamental technique, but customized it to their life requirements. This flexibility within structure is what made the body map technique universally applicable across all humans for hundreds of thousands of years. Feel the relief of simplification. You don't need complex organizational systems. You don't need multiple apps for different life areas. You need 3 categories: actions, knowledge, connections, left side. Right side, center line. Your body provides the structure. Your brain provides the content. The technique provides the integration. Complexity dissolves into elegant simplicity. Some tribe members specialized in one type of memory. The hunters became masters of action memory, encoding complex movement sequences and tactical decisions. The medicine makers became masters of learning memory, preserving thousands of plant properties and healing techniques. The elders became masters of connection memory, maintaining the entire social web of the tribe across generations. But everyone learned all 3 types. Everyone could encode actions, knowledge, and connections as needed. You have the same flexibility. Some days you'll encode mostly actions. Some days mostly knowledge. Some days mostly connections. The body map adapts to your changing needs while maintaining consistent organizational structure. This adaptability within consistency is what makes the technique sustainable for lifelong practice. You're not locked into rigid categories. You're working with natural brain organization that flexibly serves whatever your life requires. The elder watched his 3 students sleep, each having encoded their first organized body maps. Tomorrow they would discover that memory isn't overwhelming when it's properly organized. Tomorrow they would experience the calm that comes from knowing exactly where each type of information lives. Tomorrow they would begin a lifetime practice of perfect mental organization through body spatial awareness. And tonight you begin the same practice. 3 categories, 3 body zones.
Infinite applications.
This is the organization your brain has been waiting for. Notice how your body wants to move slightly as you learn. This is natural.
This is ancient.
Memory and movement have always been partners. Feel this truth settling into your awareness as stillness and motion unite. The tribe was migrating. 20 adults, 15 children, moving across frozen landscape towards summer territories 3 weeks away. This wasn't casual travel. This was complex navigation through dangerous terrain while carrying everything needed for survival. Yet no one was consulting maps or lists or external references. They were using their bodies as they walked. The lead navigator, a woman of 40 winters, touched her left thigh with each 100th step. Each touch reinforced the next landmark to watch for. The bent tree, the split rock, the river crossing, the cave shelter. Her walking rhythm and memory reinforcement synchronized perfectly.
Movement enhanced encoding.
Memory-guided movement. The partnership was seamless. Behind her, a young mother walked while carrying her infant. Every few minutes she touched her body map points. Right shoulder for the herbs she needed to find along the route. Belly for the family members who would meet them at the destination. Chest for her son's illness that needed monitoring. Forehead for the shelter tasks upon arrival. She encoded and reinforced memories while walking, while carrying, while navigating. The body map worked during movement as naturally as during stillness. Modern neuroscience explains why this works. Movement activates the hippocampus, the brain's primary memory center. Physical activity increases blood flow to memory regions. Walking rhythm creates neural patterns that enhance encoding. Proprioception during movement strengthens spatial awareness, making body map anchoring even more powerful. The tribe's practice of memory reinforcement during migration wasn't just convenient, it was neurologically optimal. This explains something you probably noticed. You remember conversations from walks better than conversations from sitting. You recall ideas that came during movement more easily than ideas from stillness. Your memory naturally works better when your body is active. The tribe understood this intuitively and built it into their memory practices. They encoded before sleep but reinforced during movement. Your modern application is simple. Touch your body map points during morning routines. While making coffee, touch your left thigh and recall your morning priority. While showering, touch your right shoulder and recall your learning goal. While commuting, touch your belly and recall your communication need. While walking, touch your chest and recall your personal care task. Movement and memory working together just as they have for millions of years. The tribe walked for hours each day during migration. With each mile, memories were reinforced. The navigator touched her body map hundreds of times, each touch strengthening the route memory. By journey's end, she could have led this migration in complete darkness, in blinding snow, while injured or exhausted. The memory was that strong because it had been reinforced through movement repeatedly. A young man learning to hunt walked beside his teacher. "Watch," the teacher said, as he touched his body points while tracking prey. Left thigh when identifying tracks, right shoulder when reading wind direction, belly when estimating distance, chest when assessing danger, forehead when planning approach. Each touch connected observation to memory, action to encoding. The young hunter mimicked the movements, learning that memory practice wasn't separate from life activities. It was woven into every action. Feel your breath moving in your chest.
Even this gentle motion is enough.
You don't need to be walking miles. You don't need vigorous movement. Even slight shifts in position, even breathing rhythm, even the small adjustments your body makes constantly, these enhance memory encoding. Your body is always moving subtly. Your memory system is always ready to work with that movement. The tribe reached their destination after 23 days of travel. Every person arrived with complete memory of the journey. The landmarks, the distances, the resources discovered along the way, the challenges overcome, all encoded through body map reinforcement during movement. They would rest here for the summer, but the memory of the return journey was already being encoded. Touch and move, move and remember. The cycle that kept humans navigating successfully across entire continents without maps. Tomorrow morning, try this. As you move through your morning routine, touch your body map points. Notice how the movement makes memory recall feel more natural. Notice how the reinforcement during activity strengthens what you encoded before sleep. You're not adding extra time to your day. You're integrating memory practice into movements you already make. This is how the technique becomes effortless. This is how it becomes sustainable for life. The navigator stood at the summer camp, looking back across the journey they'd completed. Her body map had guided them perfectly. 3 weeks.
Hundreds of miles. 0 errors.
Complete success. Tomorrow, she would begin encoding the return journey, building memory maps in both directions. By the end of summer, she could navigate this route in her sleep, because she had used sleep to encode it, movement to reinforce it, and body spatial awareness to anchor it permanently. Your life is a migration too. Different destinations, different challenges, same need for reliable memory and successful navigation. The body map technique works during modern movement just as it worked during Ice Age migration. Touch your body as you move through your day. Let movement enhance memory.
Let memory guide movement.
This partnership has always defined human success. This partnership is still available to you starting tomorrow morning. Imagine the peace of knowing you won't forget.
Feel that relief in your chest. This isn't fantasy.
This is simply the natural result of using memory the way nature designed it. Let anxiety about forgetting dissolve completely into ancient confidence. A young tribe member came to the elder with a concern. What if I forget to use the body map? What if I stop practicing and lose this ability? The elder smiled with deep understanding. Sit, child. Let me tell you about those who forgot to remember. Seasons ago, a man from a distant tribe joined us. He was strong, skilled, intelligent, but he'd never learned the body map. His people used different methods: marks on sticks, knots in cord, external memory aids. When he came to us, he struggled terribly. He forgot where the hunting party was meeting. He forgot which plants his wife needed. He forgot when to return from gathering. He forgot promises he'd made. His life was filled with anxiety and apology. The elder continued. We taught him the body map. The first night, he was skeptical. The second night, he practiced without belief. The third morning, he woke and touched his body points. His face changed. Everything he'd encoded was there, perfect, clear, reliable. He touched his body map that night with new faith. Within a week, his anxiety disappeared. Within 2 weeks, he couldn't imagine living without this practice. The forgetting ritual wasn't something he needed anymore because he'd remembered how to remember. This story holds a truth your modern life desperately needs. Phone dependency creates exactly the cycle the elder described. You forget because you've externalized memory. You externalize more because you're forgetting. The cycle deepens. Anxiety grows. Confidence shrinks. You check your phone more frequently. You trust your mind less completely. Digital amnesia becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Research confirms this pattern. People who use smartphone reminders extensively show measurable decline in natural memory formation capability. Their hippocampus becomes less active. Their encoding strength weakens. Their recall confidence plummets. After 2 years of heavy phone dependency, most people believe their memory is naturally poor. But it's not natural. It's trained. They've trained their brains to stop encoding by consistently externalizing information. The body map technique reverses this completely. When you encode information through body touch, your brain registers successful memory formation. When you retrieve that information the next morning, your confidence increases. Successful encoding and retrieval strengthen neural pathways. Confidence motivates continued practice. Practice creates habit. Within 2 weeks, most people reduce phone checking by 60%, not through willpower, but through discovered capability. The man from the distant tribe lived with the elders' people for the rest of his life. He never returned to external memory aids. He never needed them. Every evening, he performed his body map before sleep. Every morning, he touched his body points and remembered everything. The anxiety that had defined his earlier life was completely gone. He moved through each day with the calm confidence of someone whose mind was completely reliable. Touch your chest right now. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the steady, reliable rhythm. Your memory can be this reliable,
Not through effort, not through discipline.
through alignment with natural neurology. Your brain wants to remember. It was designed to remember. Phone dependency interrupts this natural function. The body map restores it. Some people worry about becoming dependent on the body map technique. This concern misunderstands what dependence means. You're not becoming dependent on an external system. You're becoming confident in an internal capability. The body map is simply a way of organizing what's already yours. Your body awareness, your spatial memory, your natural encoding power. You can't lose these capabilities because they're fundamental to being human. The elder taught the young tribe member one final lesson. The forgetting ritual we never needed isn't about perfect memory of everything.
It's about reliable memory of what matters.
You will forget trivial things. You should forget trivial things. Your brain needs to discard irrelevant information to function well. The body map helps you remember what you've decided is important while letting go of what isn't. This selection process is healthy.
Natural, essential. Modern people try to remember everything.
Creating cognitive overload and constant anxiety. The body map forces healthy selection. You can only encode 5 or 10 things per night.
This limitation is actually freedom.
It forces you to identify true priorities. What really matters tomorrow? Choose 5 things. encode them. Let everything else go. This practice creates clarity that reduces stress dramatically. The young tribe member understood. That night, he performed his body map with new commitment. 5 priorities: clear encoding, peaceful release of everything else. Morning came. He remembered his 5 things perfectly. Everything else had faded appropriately. He moved through his day with focused clarity instead of scattered anxiety. The forgetting ritual he'd feared became unnecessary because he'd learned to remember what mattered. Your modern life needs this same clarity. You don't need to remember every email, every notification, every minor task. You need to remember your true priorities. 5 things, maybe 10. The body map gives you both power and limitation. Power to remember perfectly, limitation to force-wise selection. Together, these create psychological peace that phone dependency can never provide. The man from the distant tribe lived 30 more winters after learning the body map. On his deathbed, surrounded by family, he performed his body map one final time. Even in his last moments, even with his mind fading, the practice remained. Touch and remember, remember and release. The cycle that had transformed his life continued until his last breath. This is the gift of working with natural memory. This is the peace of trusting your own mind completely. Feel that peace available to you now. The anxiety about forgetting is dissolving. Tomorrow morning, you'll touch your body map and discover your mind is more reliable than you've been taught to believe. The forgetting ritual becomes unnecessary when you remember to remember, when you use your body, when you trust your neurology, when you reclaim the capability your ancestors never lost because they never stopped using it. Remember learning something perfectly as a child.
That ease, that joy.
Let that feeling return now. If children master this in hours, your adult self can too. Feel the ancient ease of natural learning washing over you. A 4-year-old child sat beside the elder, watching intently as the body map was demonstrated. The child had no doubt, no skepticism, no concern about whether this would work. Children simply accept what they're shown and try it themselves. The elder touched 5 points slowly. The child copied the movement. Perfect. Again, said the elder. The child repeated the sequence. Again, 5 times total.
That's enough, the elder said.
Tonight, before sleep, do this and think of 5 things for tomorrow. That evening, the 4-year-old performed the body map. Left thigh, help mama carry water. Right shoulder, find the smooth stones for playing. Belly, eat the honey grandmother saved.
Chest, stay near camp, don't wander.
Forehead, learn the new song from brother.
5 touches.
5 thoughts, perhaps 8 seconds total. The child had no idea this was supposed to be difficult. So it wasn't. Morning came. The child woke, touched the 5 body points naturally, and remembered everything. Complete success on the first attempt. The child ran to show the elder.
I remembered all 5 things.
The elder nodded with deep satisfaction. Of course you did. This is how children learn. No resistance, no doubt. Pure, natural capability. Modern children have even greater neuroplasticity than Ice Age children. Their brains form new connections faster. They learn languages, complex games, intricate skills with remarkable speed. Yet modern children are taught that their memory is unreliable. They're given external memory aids before their natural systems are fully developed. They learn to distrust their own minds before they've even explored their capabilities. If you taught a modern 4-year-old the body map technique through play, they would master it in a single afternoon. Show them once.
Let them practice 3 times.
That night before bed, guide them through encoding 5 simple things. Tomorrow morning, they'll remember perfectly. Their success would be immediate, obvious confidence building. They would never develop the memory anxiety that plagues most adults. But here's what matters for you. Your adult brain, despite being less plastic than a child's, has crucial advantages that children lack. You have refined proprioception. Your body awareness is sophisticated and precise. You have decades of knowing exactly where each body part is in space. This spatial precision makes body map encoding even more powerful for adults than for children. Your neural pathways are deeper, stronger, more established. The 4-year-old who learned the body map grew into a 5-year-old who could remember 10 things. By age 7, she could remember 15 things across multiple body locations. By age 10, she was teaching younger children the technique. By adulthood, her memory was so reliable that the tribe trusted her with their most important knowledge. She became a medicine maker, encoding thousands of plant properties across elaborate body maps, all because she learned at 4 with the natural ease that children bring to everything. You have that same natural capability.
Age hasn't erased it.
It's just covered over with learned doubt and digital dependency. But underneath, the 4-year-old who could learn anything is still present. That part of you that trusted easy learning, that part that didn't question whether something would work, just tried it and discovered it did work. That part is listening right now, recognizing truth, preparing to try something that feels simultaneously new and ancient. Touch your left hand gently.
Feel the warmth?
Your body awareness right now is more developed than any 4-year-old's. You can sense subtle distinctions. You can locate body parts with precision. You can feel internal sensations that children barely notice. These advantages make you perfectly suited for body map mastery. What you lack in neuroplasticity, you more than compensate for with refined proprioception. The elder who taught the 4-year-old went on to teach hundreds of children over 60 years. Every single child learned the technique successfully. Every single one. Not because they were special or gifted or unusually talented, because the technique aligns with natural neurology. Because children haven't yet learned to doubt their capabilities. Because learning is what brains do naturally when we don't interfere with resistance and skepticism. Your adult skepticism isn't wisdom, it's learned helplessness disguised as caution. You've been taught that memory requires effort, repetition, struggle, external aids. You've been taught that forgetting is inevitable and your mind is unreliable. These teachings are false. They contradict 300,000 years of human experience. They contradict your evolutionary inheritance. They contradict what children prove every day when they learn complex skills effortlessly. Tonight, you have permission to learn like a 4-year-old. No doubt, no resistance. Just try the technique and notice what happens. 5 body points before sleep. 5 clear intentions. Tomorrow morning, touch those same points and watch memories surface. You don't need to believe it will work. You just need to try it once and let direct experience replace learned doubt. The 4-year-old, now grown, taught her own children the body map when they reached 4 winters. The technique passed from generation to generation, each child learning with the same natural ease. No child ever failed.
No child ever struggled.
The technique was so aligned with human neurology that learning it was as natural as learning to walk or speak. This is your birthright too.
This ease, this natural capability.
This perfect union of intention and neurology, feel the child within you stirring. The one who learned fearlessly. The one who trusted natural ability. That child is ready to learn one more thing. One more perfect, simple, ancient thing. The body map.
10 seconds.
5 points.
Tomorrow's proof.
Let adult doubt rest. Let childhood ease return. Learn the way you were always meant to learn. Easily, naturally, successfully, just like every 4-year-old who came before you. Tomorrow morning, before anything else, touch your left thigh.
Watch what you remember.
This simple act changes everything. Feel the anticipation of tomorrow's success settling into peaceful sleep tonight. The hunting party returned at dawn after 3 days in the wilderness. Each hunter had encoded complex information before the journey. Routes, landmarks, weather patterns, game locations, emergency protocols. Now, standing at the cave entrance with the morning sun warming their backs, each hunter performed the morning retrieval ritual. One by one, they touched their body maps in reverse sequence from the encoding: forehead, chest, belly, right shoulder,
left thigh.
The memories unlocked in perfect order. The elder explained to a young observer, "We encode forward into the future before sleep. We retrieve backward from the future upon waking. The reversal creates a retrieval pathway that's distinct from the encoding pathway. Two separate neural patterns for the same information. This doubles the strength. This guarantees recall. Modern memory research has validated this practice. When you encode information using one pattern and retrieve it using a slightly different pattern, you create multiple neural pathways to the same memory. This redundancy makes forgetting nearly impossible. The tribe's practice of reverse order retrieval wasn't just ritual. It was sophisticated neuroscience discovered through generations of practice. Your morning protocol is simple but specific. Before checking your phone, before reading messages, before engaging with any external information, touch your body map points. You can use the same order as encoding or reverse order, whichever feels more natural. The touch itself is the trigger. The spatial body awareness is the key. The memories will surface automatically. Most people resist this. The phone is right there. The temptation to check notifications is overwhelming. But this first few minutes after waking is crucial. Your brain has just completed overnight memory consolidation. The information you encoded before sleep is now permanently stored and ready for retrieval. If you contaminate this window with external information, you interfere with the natural retrieval process. Your brain gets confused about which information is internally generated versus externally received. The hunters touched their body maps and remembered everything. 20 pieces of information each. Perfect recall.
Clear detail, actionable intelligence.
They had trusted the overnight consolidation process. They had waited until morning to retrieve. They had performed the body map before any other mental activity. The reward was complete memory clarity that guided their entire day. One hunter spoke. I used to wake with confusion, not knowing where to start my day. I would ask others what we were doing, where we were going, what was needed. Now I wake with complete clarity.
I touch my body and know everything.
This confidence changes everything.
I move with purpose instead of hesitation. I lead instead of following.
All because I remember. This psychological transformation is what body map practice offers. It's not just about remembering specific tasks. It's about fundamental confidence in your own mind. When you wake, knowing that touching your body will instantly recall everything important, you stop experiencing morning anxiety. You stop feeling overwhelmed by the day ahead. You start from certainty instead of confusion. Your modern morning can have this same quality. Imagine your alarm going off tomorrow. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone, you touch your left thigh. Your morning priority surfaces clearly. You touch your right shoulder. Your midday task appears. You touch your belly. Your communication need is obvious. You touch your chest. Your self-care commitment is present. You touch your forehead. Your evening plan is set.
15 seconds.
Complete orientation to your day. No apps required. The hunters went about their morning tasks with calm efficiency. Each man knew exactly what he needed to do.
No discussion needed.
No coordination confusion. The body map had provided individual clarity that enabled group coordination. By noon, all tasks were complete. By evening, the tribe was celebrating success. The morning retrieval ritual had set the day's trajectory perfectly. One young hunter was learning this practice for the first time. The elder guided him. Tonight before sleep, encode 5 things. Tomorrow morning, before anything else, before talking to anyone, before eating or drinking, touch your 5 body points.
Just touch them. Don't strain. Don't force.
Just touch and notice what your mind offers. The young hunter agreed, though he was uncertain whether this would really work. Morning came. The young hunter woke. He remembered the instruction. Before anything else, he touched his left thigh.
Instantly, the memory surfaced.
Help repair the elder's shelter. He nearly gasped with surprise. It was so clear.
So immediate. So certain.
He touched his right shoulder. Practice spear throwing at the marked tree. Again, perfect clarity. He touched his remaining 3 points. All 5 memories returned flawlessly. The young hunter ran to find the elder.
It worked. It really worked. I remembered everything.
The elder smiled. Of course it worked. It always works. This is how human memory was designed to function.
Now you know?
Now you'll never forget that you can remember. This confidence is the real gift. Not just remembering 5 things, but knowing your mind is reliable. You'll have this same experience tomorrow morning. The surprise, the clarity, the immediate proof that your natural memory system works perfectly when you use it correctly. This direct experience is more powerful than any explanation. This is why the morning retrieval is crucial. It provides undeniable proof that transforms belief into knowledge. The young hunter used the body map every day for the rest of his life. 60 years, 20,000 mornings, 20,000 successful retrievals. His confidence in his own mind never wavered because he had daily proof of its reliability. This is available to you.
Not after years of practice. Tomorrow morning.
First retrieval, first proof. First transformation from doubt to certainty. Set your intention now. Tomorrow morning, before your hand reaches for your phone, it reaches for your body.
Left thigh.
Right shoulder, belly, chest, forehead, touch and receive. Retrieve and know. Your sleeping brain is already preparing for this. Your overnight consolidation is already encoding what you'll discover tomorrow. The memories are being secured right now as you drift deeper into sleep. Morning will bring them back to consciousness with perfect clarity. All you have to do is touch your body and allow the ancient system to work exactly as it was designed to work for 300,000 years. Think of someone you love.
Imagine never forgetting what matters to them. This is possible.
This is simple. Feel the relief of knowing relationships can be strengthened through perfect memory of what people share with you. 2 tribe members sat together in quiet conversation, a father and son. The father spoke of wisdom learned over 40 winters, which alliances to trust, which territories to avoid,
How to read character in strangers.
how to resolve conflicts before they escalated. The son listened with full presence, asking questions, seeking understanding. This conversation would shape his leadership for decades to come. He needed to remember it perfectly. As the father spoke, the son periodically touched his body map.
Not obviously. Not disruptively.
Just gentle touches that anchored key points to body locations. Left thigh when father spoke of northern allies. Right shoulder when he explained seasonal territory negotiations. Belly when he shared wisdom about food distribution during scarcity.
Chest when he spoke about protecting family above all.
Forehead when he offered guidance about teaching the next generation. The conversation lasted 2 hours. The son encoded perhaps 20 key points across his body map. When the father finished, the son closed his eyes and touched his body map in sequence. He recited back the core wisdom his father had shared. Every major point, every crucial detail. The emotional weight of each teaching. The father smiled with deep satisfaction. You have truly heard me. You will carry this forward. Modern people have lost this practice. We have important conversations and remember only fragments. Partners share their struggles and we forget the details. Children tell us their fears and we lose track of what was said. Colleagues explain their needs and we can't recall specifics later. These failures damage relationships gradually, creating distance and disconnection. The body map prevents this completely. Your modern application is immediate. After any important conversation, take 10 seconds to encode key points through your body map. Your partner shares a difficult day. Touch your chest and encode the core emotional need they expressed. Your child tells you about school challenges. Touch your belly and encode the specific situation they described. Your friend confides a worry. Touch your right shoulder and encode the essential concern. 10 seconds after the conversation. Perfect preservation of what matters. The son carried his father's wisdom for 30 winters. When his own son reached manhood, he shared the same conversation, remembering it perfectly 3 decades later. He touched his body map as he spoke, reinforcing the memories even as he transmitted them. The wisdom passed forward completely intact, not vague recollections.
Perfect preservation.
This is how tribal knowledge survived without writing. Body map encoding after important conversations. Imagine how this transforms relationships. Your partner feels truly heard because you remember exactly what they said days later. Your children feel valued because you recall their concerns without prompting. Your friends feel honored because you follow up on details they shared. These aren't memory tricks. This is genuine presence enabled by reliable encoding. This is love expressed through the practice of remembering what people trust you with. One woman in the tribe was known for never forgetting what anyone told her. The secret was simple. After every meaningful interaction, she spent 10 seconds touching her body map and encoding key points. People felt safe sharing with her because they knew she would remember. She became the tribe's informal counselor, holding hundreds of personal stories across her elaborate body maps. She could recall who was struggling, who needed support, who was celebrating, who required intervention. All through disciplined body map practice, after conversations, you can develop this same reputation.
The person who truly listens.
The person who remembers. The person who follows up appropriately because they retained what others shared. This isn't superhuman ability. This is an ancient technique applied to modern relationships. 10 seconds after important conversations. Touch your body points. Encode what matters. Retrieve it later when needed. The father who shared his wisdom died peacefully 5 winters after that crucial conversation. But his son carried every word forward. He taught his own children using his father's wisdom, remembering it perfectly. He advised the tribe using his father's insights, never losing a single teaching. The body map had preserved a relationship beyond death itself.
Memory became legacy.
Presence became immortality. Touch your heart right now. Feel the people you love. They're sharing important things with you all the time. Small details, deep fears, quiet hopes, specific needs. You're probably forgetting most of it. Not through lack of caring, through lack of technique. The body map solves this completely. After conversations that matter, 10 seconds. Touch your body. Encode what was shared. Tomorrow, next week, next month, you'll remember. You'll follow up appropriately. You'll prove through recall that their words mattered to you. Relationships deepen when people feel remembered. Conflicts resolve when details aren't forgotten. Trust builds when promises are kept because they're encoded properly. The body map isn't just for tasks and priorities. It's for preserving the human connections that make life meaningful. 10 seconds after conversations. This is how you honor the people who trust you with their thoughts, their feelings, their lives. The son taught this practice to his own children. After important conversations, take 10 seconds. Touch your body. Remember what matters. He wanted them to carry forward not just his wisdom, but the wisdom of their grandfather and the generations before. Memory as relationship. Encoding as love. Retrieval as honoring those who came before and those who walk beside us now. This is the full power of the body map. Not just individual memory, but collective preservation of what makes us human. Connection, understanding, perfect recall of what people share when they open their hearts. This is day 1 for you. Tomorrow you'll already be different. Feel the patience with process as transformation unfolds naturally. Change is quick but not instant. Let this timeline create manageable commitment while allowing present moment peace. A new member joined the tribe, a young woman from a distant group coming to live with her new partner's people. She had never learned the body map technique. Her people used different memory methods. On her first evening, an elder approached her. "Tonight, before sleep, I will teach you something that will change your entire life." The woman was skeptical but respectful. She listened. The elder demonstrated the body map. 5 touches, 5 intentions.
10 seconds.
The woman copied the movement.
Good, said the elder.
Tonight before sleep, choose 5 things for tomorrow. Touch your body as I showed you. Think clearly about each thing. Tomorrow morning, touch those same spots before you do anything else. Just try this once. See what happens. That first night, the woman practiced with conscious effort. The body map felt strange, foreign, forced. She wasn't certain she was doing it correctly. She encoded 5 simple things. Tomorrow's gathering location, the morning meal preparation task she'd volunteered for, The new person's name she needed to remember. The shelter repair her partner mentioned. The evening gathering she'd been invited to. 5 things.
Uncertain encoding.
Restless sleep, wondering if this would actually work. Day 1 morning arrived. The woman woke and remembered the instruction before anything else. She touched her left thigh, expecting nothing. The gathering location surfaced instantly in her mind. Clear, certain, obvious. She gasped slightly. She touched her right shoulder. The meal preparation task appeared perfectly. She touched her remaining 3 points. All 5 memories returned flawlessly. Not perfect recall. She noticed some details were fuzzy, but far better than she'd expected. Far better than her usual memory without any technique. The woman found the elder that morning. It worked, she said, surprised evident in her voice. Mostly. Some things were clearer than others. The elder nodded.
This is day 1.
Tonight you'll do it again. You'll refine your body location choices. You'll notice what works best for you. Day 2 is easier than day 1. Day 3 is easier than day 2. By day 4, you won't even think about it anymore. Day 2, evening. The woman performed her body map with slightly more confidence. She adjusted her body locations based on what had worked best the previous night. She chose 5 new priorities for the next day. The encoding felt more natural.
Less forced.
More like reminding herself than trying to memorize.
Sleep came easier.
Her brain was beginning to recognize this pattern as useful. Day 2 morning. She woke and touched her body map without hesitation. The memories surfaced even more clearly than the first day. All 5 things perfectly recalled. She moved through her day with noticeably more confidence.
No anxiety about forgotten tasks. No mental nagging about what she might be overlooking.
Just calm certainty about her priorities. She was beginning to trust her own mind in a way she never had before. Day 3 evening. The body map had become almost automatic. She didn't have to think about which body location to use. Her hands moved naturally to the right spots. She encoded 5 priorities with ease, confidence, certainty. Sleep came peacefully. Her brain had fully accepted this as the new normal. The neural pathways were established. The habit was forming. Day 3 morning. She woke and touched her body map as naturally as breathing.
Perfect recall. Complete clarity.
Total confidence. Something had shifted fundamentally. She wasn't trying to remember anymore. She just remembered. The technique had become automatic. The transformation was complete. She found the elder again. "You were right," she said. "By day 3, it feels like I've always done this. Your 3-day timeline follows the same pattern. Tonight is day 1. You'll encode 5 priorities before sleep. Tomorrow morning, you'll retrieve them. The recall won't be perfect, but it will be surprisingly good. Better than you expected. Good enough to prove the technique works. This first success is crucial. It converts skepticism into curiosity. It shows you that your brain can do this. Day 2, tomorrow night, you'll refine your approach. You'll adjust which body locations work best for you. You'll encode with slightly more confidence. Day 2 morning, your recall will be even clearer.
More complete. More natural.
You'll move through your day with reduced phone checking because you trust your internal memory more. This growing confidence is the real transformation. Day 3, the night after tomorrow, the body map will feel natural. You won't have to think about it consciously. Your hands will move to the right locations automatically. Your encoding will be clear and effortless. Day 3 morning, your recall will be perfect.
Complete clarity.
Total confidence. By this point, you've proven to yourself that your natural memory system works exactly as promised. Week 2 brings deeper integration. The body map becomes part of your bedtime routine, like brushing your teeth. You stop questioning whether it works because you have daily proof. Most people reduce their phone checking by 60% during week 2, not through willpower or discipline, through discovered capability. Why check your phone when your body map gives you better information? The woman who joined the tribe lived there for 40 years. Every single night she performed her body map before sleep. Every single morning she retrieved her memories through body touch. The technique that felt strange on day 1 became as natural as breathing by day 4. It served her perfectly for 4 decades. She taught it to her children, who taught it to theirs. The 3-day transformation that she experienced 40 years ago created a lifetime practice that never failed her. Feel the timeline settling into your awareness. 3 days, day 1 tonight, day 2 tomorrow night, day 3 the night after. By day 4, you'll wonder how you ever lived without this practice. The transformation is quick because it's not really transformation. It's remembering, it's returning to what your neurology was always designed for. It's coming home to ancient capability that's been waiting for you to rediscover it. This is day 1 for you. Tomorrow you'll already be different. Not completely transformed, but measurably changed. You'll have proof that your mind can remember without external aids. That proof will carry you through day 2. Day 2's success will carry you through day 3. By day 3, the practice becomes self-sustaining because the benefits are undeniable. 3 days, that's all. Then a lifetime of reliable memory, reduced anxiety, and complete confidence in your own mind. Feel the permanence of your body. This is your true storage system. Digital tools are supplements, not replacements. Let this understanding bring peace as you release dependency and reclaim biological wisdom. A tribe member tried to create external memory aids. He was innovative, clever, always experimenting with new methods. He carved notches on sticks to represent different tasks. He arranged stones in patterns to encode information. He tied knots in cord to mark important dates. His shelter was filled with these memory devices. He spent hours maintaining them, updating them, trying to make them work reliably. The elder watched this with patient concern. Finally, she approached him. "Why do you work so hard at external memory when you carry perfect memory within you?" The man explained. "These systems let me remember more things. They're backups in case I forget. They're tools that extend my capability." The elder nodded slowly. "Show me your sticks and stones and cords."
Tell me what they mean. The man pointed to a stick with 5 notches.
"This is for the 5 tasks I must do tomorrow." "But which task is which notch?" the elder asked. The man hesitated. From left to right, they represent morning to evening tasks. "But what if you forget which task goes with which notch?" The man's confidence wavered. "I won't forget, because I remember which notch means what." The elder smiled gently.
So the stick doesn't actually hold the memory.
"Your mind does. The stick is just a reminder that you need to remember something. It's not storage. It's a trigger for internal recall." The man looked at his elaborate external memory systems with new understanding. If he lost the stick, he'd lose access to the information. If rain washed away the stone patterns, the memory was gone. If cord broke or knots came undone, knowledge disappeared. But the body was always present. The body couldn't be lost or broken or washed away. The body was the only truly reliable external reference point because it wasn't actually external at all. Modern digital memory systems have the same fundamental flaw. Your phone stores information externally. If the phone breaks, dies, gets lost, or crashes, the information vanishes. You might have cloud backup, but that requires internet connection and working devices. The entire system depends on technology functioning correctly and being accessible. This dependency creates constant low-level anxiety. What if my phone dies? What if I can't access my notes? What if the app crashes? The body map has zero dependency on external systems. Your body is always with you, always accessible,
Always functional.
battery doesn't die.
Screen doesn't crack. Operating system doesn't need updates.
The storage system is biological, maintained automatically by your metabolism, requiring no conscious effort or external support. This independence is profoundly liberating once you experience it. The tribal man began learning the body map after his conversation with the elder. Within a week, he abandoned most of his external memory devices. They cluttered his shelter and his mind without providing real benefit. The body map was simpler, more reliable, more portable, more permanent. He kept a few tools for specific purposes like astronomical tracking and complex mathematical concepts that exceeded human memory capacity. But for daily life, for priorities and tasks and responsibilities, The body map was superior in every way. Your modern integration should follow the same wisdom. The body map isn't about rejecting all technology. It's about using technology appropriately for its genuine strengths while reclaiming biological capability for what bodies do better. Use your phone for truly complex information that exceeds natural memory capacity. Large databases, complicated calculations, extensive research. But for daily priorities, tasks, and commitments, your body map is faster, more reliable, and anxiety-free. Research shows that people who use mixed systems, internal memory for priorities and external storage for complex data, have the lowest anxiety and highest productivity. They're not fighting their biology by externalizing everything. They're not limiting themselves by refusing helpful tools. They're using each system for what it does best. This balanced approach creates psychological peace that pure digital dependency or pure rejection of technology both fail to achieve. The man who had relied on external memory devices became one of the tribe's most reliable members. People trusted him completely because his body map memory never failed. When he needed to preserve genuinely complex information beyond human capacity, he used appropriate external methods. But 90% of what he needed to remember lived in his body map. Instantly accessible, perfectly reliable, completely independent of external systems. Touch your body right now.
Feel its permanence.
Feel its reliability.
This isn't metaphor, this is literal biological fact.
Your body maintains itself,
Heals itself, regulates itself.
all without your conscious intervention. The same automatic reliability applies to body map memory. Once encoded, the spatial body associations maintain themselves through natural neural processes. You don't have to do anything. The system just works continuously for as long as you live. Digital systems create the illusion of enhanced memory while actually weakening natural encoding. Each time you externalize a memory to your phone, you train your brain that internal storage is unnecessary. Over months and years, this training creates genuine cognitive weakness. Your hippocampus becomes less active. Your encoding strength diminishes. You become dependent on external systems not because they're superior, but because you've systematically weakened your natural capability. The body map reverses this process. Each successful encoding and retrieval strengthens natural memory pathways.
Your hippocampus becomes more active.
Your confidence grows. You break the dependency cycle not through willpower, but through discovered capability. Within 2 weeks, most people naturally reduce phone dependency by 60% because they've proven to themselves that their biological system works better for daily priorities. The elder taught the tribal man one final lesson. External tools are for extending capability beyond natural limits. Internal practices are for fulfilling natural design.
Know the difference.
Use each appropriately. Never let external tools replace internal capability that you were born to use. The man carried this wisdom for the rest of his life, maintaining perfect balance between biological memory and appropriate external tools. Your body knows this balance instinctively. Feel the relief of releasing inappropriate dependency. Your phone is useful for specific purposes, but your daily priorities, your important tasks, your key commitments, these belong in your body map.
Not because technology is bad.
Because biology is better for this specific function. Trust your body. Trust your brain. Trust 300,000 years of proven capability. Digital backup isn't the answer. Biological primary storage with selective digital supplementation is the answer. This is the balance that creates psychological peace and practical effectiveness. Choose your first location right now. Left thigh, right shoulder, belly, chest, or forehead. Trust your instinct. This customization creates ownership. This ownership creates commitment. Feel the clarity of immediate action as planning becomes practice. The final teaching circle gathered at twilight. The elder sat with 5 young adults who had learned the basic body map technique. Tonight, she said, you customize. You make this practice yours. The body map is not rigid. It adapts to each person's life, each person's needs, each person's natural inclinations. I will show you how. She turned to the first young adult, a hunter. Your life is movement and action. Your body map should reflect this. Use your entire left side for hunting knowledge.
Left shoulder for tracking.
Left elbow for weather reading. Left hip for territory memory. Left knee for prey behavior. Left ankle for return routes. Your right side holds family and tribe obligations. Right shoulder for your partner's needs. Right hip for your children. Center line for spiritual practice and elder wisdom. This is your personal map. The hunter nodded, immediately understanding how this organization matched his life perfectly. He would encode his unique priorities across body locations that made intuitive sense to him. The customization created ownership. This was his system now, not just a technique he'd been taught. The elder turned to the second young adult, a medicine maker. Your life is plant knowledge and healing wisdom. Your body map should reflect this. Use your right side entirely for medicine information. Right shoulder for each plant family. Right forearm for preparation methods. Right hand fingers for specific applications. Each finger a different healing category. Left side for gathering schedules and patient needs. Center line for spiritual aspects of healing and teacher wisdom you're preserving. This is your personal map. The medicine maker smiled with recognition. This organization aligned perfectly with how she already thought about her work. The body map wasn't imposing foreign structure. It was revealing structure that already existed in her mind and giving it physical location for stronger encoding. The elder continued around the circle, helping each young adult design a personal memory map that matched their life circumstances, their responsibilities, their natural way of organizing information. A toolmaker used body locations for different crafting stages. A storyteller used locations for different story categories. A coordinator used locations for different tribal functions she managed. Each personal map was unique. Each was perfect for that individual. Your customization begins tonight. The 5 basic locations, left thigh, right shoulder, belly, chest, forehead, are starting points, not rigid requirements. Over 3 days, you'll discover which body locations work most naturally for you. Some people prefer arms instead of thighs. Some people prefer using their entire left and right sides for different life categories. Some people use 10 body locations instead of 5. The system adapts completely to your needs. Trust your instinct about body locations. If touching your left thigh feels natural for morning priorities, use it. If your left shoulder feels more right, use that instead. Your intuition about body placement is usually correct because it's based on subconscious spatial processing that's more sophisticated than conscious reasoning. Your brain already knows which body locations should map to which information types. Listen to that knowing. The 5 young adults practiced their customized body maps that evening before sleep. Each person's hand movements were different. Each person's encoding pattern was unique. Yet all were using the same fundamental technique of spatial body memory anchoring. The elder watched with deep satisfaction. The teaching had been successful. Each person now owned the practice completely. It was theirs. They would use it for life. Your ownership begins tonight. Right now, choose 5 body locations that feel right to you. Don't overthink this. Your first instinct is usually correct. Touch each location. Feel how it feels. Does your left thigh feel like a good home for tomorrow's morning priority? If yes, keep it. If no, try your left shoulder or left hip. Move through 5 locations, trusting your gut feeling about what works. Assign each location to a memory category that matches your life. Morning priority,
Midday task.
communication need, self-care commitment, evening plan, or customize further.
Work task, family need.
Creative project, health goal, relationship care. The categories are yours to define. Make them match what actually matters in your life. Generic categories don't work as well as personally meaningful ones. Tonight before sleep, encode your 5 priorities using your personal body map. Touch each location firmly enough to feel it clearly. Hold for 2 seconds while thinking about the specific priority. See yourself completing it tomorrow. Feel the importance of it. This is encoding through your customized system This is making the practice yours completely. The 5 young adults used their personal memory maps every day for decades. The hunter's map served his hunting life perfectly. The medicine maker's map preserved thousands of plant properties reliably. The toolmaker never forgot a crafting sequence. The storyteller maintained hundreds of stories accurately. The coordinator managed tribal complexity flawlessly. Each person's customized system worked because it matched their actual life instead of following generic rules. Some people worry about choosing wrong locations or wrong categories. This concern is unnecessary. If something doesn't work, you'll notice within 2 days and adjust. The body map is forgiving. It's flexible. It responds to iteration and refinement. Your first customization doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. You'll naturally optimize it as you practice. The elders' final words to the young adults. Make this yours. Don't follow my system. Don't copy your friend's system. Create the personal memory map that serves your unique life. The technique is universal. The customization is individual. This combination of universal principle and personal application is what makes the body map work for everyone across all situations for all of human history. Feel your body right now. 5 locations are waiting to be chosen. 5 categories are waiting to be defined. This is your personal memory map beginning to take shape. Trust yourself. Choose locations that feel right. Define categories that matter to you. Tonight, before sleep, encode 5 personally meaningful priorities using your personally chosen system. Tomorrow morning, retrieve them and discover that customization creates even stronger memory than generic practice. This is yours now.
Make it work for you.
Make it match your life. Make it something you'll use every night for the rest of your life because it's perfectly suited to who you are and how you think. Touch your 5 points one final time before sleep. Left thigh, right shoulder, belly, chest, forehead. Feel the ancient wisdom activating. You are connected to every human who ever lived. Their memory wisdom is your memory wisdom. Sleep now and wake, remembering everything that matters. Night settled over the ancient landscape one final time in our journey together. The entire tribe lay in peaceful sleep, their memories encoded perfectly through body maps performed before darkness came. Their minds were at rest. Their priorities were secure. Tomorrow they would wake with complete clarity, but tonight they simply slept, trusting the process that had served humans for 300,000 years. The fire in the great cave burned down to glowing embers, casting the gentlest light on sleeping faces. A grandmother, the oldest member of the tribe at 83 winters, lay near the warmth. She had performed her body map thousands of times across her long life. Tonight was no different.
5 touches.
5 memories for tomorrow. She would wake and gather herbs. She would teach the youngest children their first stories. She would prepare medicine for the family with the sick infant. She would advise the hunters about distant territory. She would encode new wisdom before tomorrow night's sleep. The cycle that had defined her entire life continued unchanged, reliable as breathing. She whispered the ancient blessing that her own grandmother had whispered to her 75 winters ago. May your body remember what your mind needs to know. May your sleep strengthen what matters. May you wake with clarity. The words drifted through the cave, touching each sleeper, connecting them to ancestors who had spoken these same words for countless generations. The blessing wasn't just wish or hope, it was statement of biological fact. Bodies do remember. Sleep does strengthen. Waking does bring clarity when the body map has been honored. You now possess the same technique that preserved human knowledge for 290,000 years before writing. The same technique that kept your ancestors alive through ice ages and migrations and predators and scarcity. No app can match 2 million years of evolutionary refinement. No digital system can compete with the reliability of spatial body memory anchored through touch and consolidated through sleep. You have been given something precious tonight.
Not new technology. Ancient biology. Not complex system. Elegant simplicity.
Not difficult practice. Natural capability. Tonight, as you sleep, your brain will process the body map technique itself, the instructions you've heard, the understanding you've developed, the practice you're about to begin. All of this is being encoded into long-term memory right now as consciousness lowers and sleep approaches. Tomorrow morning, the technique will feel more natural than it did tonight.
Not because you practiced extensively, because sleep consolidated it.
Your sleeping brain is preparing you for success. The youngest child in the cave, barely 4 winters old, slept curled against her mother. She had performed her first body map earlier that evening, tiny hands touching 5 locations while thinking 5 simple thoughts.
Help Mama find pretty stones.
Eat the sweet berries. Stay safe. Sleep by Mama. 5 perfect memories for a 4-year-old life. Tomorrow she would remember all 5 effortlessly. The technique worked at 4 winters. It worked at 83 winters. It works at whatever age you are tonight. Neurology doesn't discriminate.
Biology doesn't judge.
The body map simply works because it aligns with how brains are built. Feel your own body settling into sleep now. Feel the weight of your limbs. Feel the rhythm of your breath. Feel the gradual release of waking tension. This is your body preparing for the memory consolidation work that happens automatically during sleep. The 5 things you're about to encode before final sleep tonight will be processed during deep sleep cycles. Neural connections will strengthen. Spatial associations will solidify. By morning, what feels like conscious effort tonight will feel like automatic knowledge tomorrow. The elder, who had taught so many people over so many years, slept peacefully near the cave entrance. She had devoted her life to passing this wisdom forward.
Thousands of successful students.
Thousands of transformed lives. Thousands of people who moved from digital amnesia and memory anxiety to biological confidence and mental clarity. Her legacy wasn't written in any external record. It was written in the neural pathways of everyone she taught. It was written in the lives transformed by remembering to remember. It was written in the collective capability of her entire tribe. You are part of this lineage now. The grandmother from 40,000 years ago who whispered the blessing. The elder who taught thousands. The 4-year-old child learning her first body map. The hunter encoding territories. The medicine maker preserving plant wisdom. The storyteller maintaining tribal history. You are connected to all of them through the practice you're beginning tonight. When you touch your body map, you touch across time. You join an unbroken chain of humans who understood that memory lives in flesh, in space, in the eternal present of proprioception. The ancient grandmother's blessing extends forward through 40,000 years, reaching you now in this moment. You are connected to every human who ever lived. You carry their evolutionary inheritance in your neurology. Their memory wisdom is your memory wisdom. The spatial awareness that kept them alive is the same spatial awareness you possess right now. The body they used for memory is the same body you inhabit. Nothing has changed except cultural practice.
Tonight you restore that practice.
Tonight you remember. To remember, your phone can rest.
Place it away from your sleeping space.
It has served its purpose for today, but tonight your body is your priority reminder system. Your spatial awareness is your memory anchor. Your sleep is your consolidation process. Trust this. Trust your biology over technology for this one function. Daily priorities don't need digital storage. They need body map encoding and sleep consolidation. You have everything you need already within you. Touch your 5 points one final time now.
Left thigh.
Feel tomorrow's morning priority anchoring there.
Right shoulder.
Feel your midday task settling into place. Belly. Feel your communication need marking itself. Chest. Feel your self-care commitment taking residence. Forehead. Feel your evening plan establishing itself.
5 touches.
5 clear intentions. 10 seconds that change your tomorrow. 10 seconds that begin a lifetime practice. The cave is completely dark now except for the dying embers. The tribe sleeps. The grandmother breathes slowly, peacefully. her long life of perfect memory carrying her gently toward whatever comes after. The child dreams of pretty stones and sweet berries. The hunter dreams of successful tracking. The medicine maker dreams of healing hands. The elder dreams of wisdom transmitted forward. Each dream is processing their body map memories, strengthening the neural pathways, preparing them for tomorrow's perfect recall. Your dreams tonight will process your own memories. The body map technique will be encoded while you sleep. The 5 priorities you designated will be consolidated. The spatial associations will solidify. Tomorrow morning, when you wake and touch your 5 body points, you will experience immediate proof that this ancient system works exactly as described. That proof will transform you more powerfully than any explanation could. Direct experience.
Undeniable evidence.
Your own mind proving its reliability to itself. Sleep now. Really sleep. Let go of waking consciousness completely. The work is done. You've learned the technique. You've understood the neuroscience. You've customized your personal map. You've encoded your first 5 priorities. Everything else happens automatically while you sleep. Your only job now is to rest deeply and wake naturally. Tomorrow brings discovery. Tomorrow brings proof. Tomorrow brings the beginning of life with reliable memory, reduced anxiety, and complete confidence in your own mind. The grandmother's blessing one final time, whispered so softly it's almost thought rather than sound. May your body remember what your mind needs to know. May your sleep strengthen what matters. May you wake with clarity, safe and warm in ancient memory, protected by wisdom older than language, guided by neurology older than tools, held by the same biological capability that kept humans alive for 300,000 years before phones, before writing, before external memory existed at all. We'll be here tomorrow night with more ancient wisdom for modern lives, more techniques that evolution perfected, more practices that biology optimized, more ways to reclaim your natural capabilities from digital dependency. But tonight, just sleep, just rest. Just trust the body map consolidating while you dream. Tomorrow you'll touch 5 points and discover what you've known all along. Your body is enough. Your memory is reliable. Your mind works perfectly when you use it the way nature designed it to work. The last ember dies. The cave is dark. The tribe breathes as one, sleeping peacefully under stars that watched humans develop this technique tens of thousands of years ago. Those same stars watch you now. The same technique waits in your neurology. The same blessing covers your sleep. You are held safe in wisdom older than civilization. You are carried forward by capability older than consciousness itself. You are home in your body. You are confident in your memory. You wake tomorrow changed. But for now, just sleep. Touch your 5 points once more if you need reassurance. Feel them there, holding your memories safely.
Then let go.
Let sleep come completely. The grandmother smiles across 40,000 years. The child dreams peacefully. The hunter rests before tomorrow's success. The elder releases her teaching, trusting it has taken root. And you sleep now, joining them all in the ancient practice of encoding through body, consolidating through sleep, and waking with the clarity that defines human excellence. Safe and warm in ancient wisdom. Your body knows. Your brain knows. Now you know too.
Sleep brings mastery.
Morning brings proof. Tomorrow begins forever. But tonight, just this. Sleep. Perfect and complete. While your memory consolidates and your confidence builds and your life prepares to change through the simplest practice humanity ever discovered.
10 seconds before sleep.
5 points on your body. Everything that matters, remembered forever. The blessing is complete. The teaching is finished. The transformation begins now in darkness, in sleep, in trust. Wake tomorrow and touch your body. Watch what you remember. Know what you've always been capable of. Reclaim what was never truly lost. This is your inheritance. This is your gift. This is your return to perfect memory through ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience united in your sleeping body tonight. Good night. Sleep deeply. Remember perfectly. Wake changed.